It goes 5, 4, 3.
Howdy, folks. Sure, it's Double J back here coming at you live from my studio / home on the range. Well, I'm a bison rancher now. Located deep inside Big Sky country in the state of Montana. Anyhow, folks of the interwebs, welcome back. Once again, JJ Vance here, your host of Operation GCD. And to answer Jonah's previous question in the chat here, no, I did not break my right hand, but thank you, sir. Anyhow, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do that. Anyhow, I will be your pilot and navigator for tonight's shenanigan-infused journey into the mind of this particular garbage can dude. And as always, Operation GCD Fridays begins with my former wannabe. I got that Muppet want to be my PR rep, Buffalo Jared Revisa, and his little song and dance number there in the swamps of Martha's Vineyard, not far from where old Barry Obama's chef there died. Wonder if he was cooking up some jerky for the Obamas. That's why he had to go. Also, Martha's Vineyard, real den of iniquity, known for where, according to Alan Dershowitz, the Dersh, he met Jeffrey Epstein via introduction from the Rothschilds. I can't make this shit up. Anyhow, Landon, greetings, sir. My co-host this evening for Operation GCD Fridays. Welcome back to Operation GCD, sir, for your first time.
Yeah, what's up, brother? Glad to be back, man. We're here. Special guest Ralph tonight, man.
Living in the land of Muppets. Living in the land
World
of
War
Muppets,
III, huh? World War III is upon us.
World War Muppets. Well, we got a fun-filled barn burner here on deck for you folks. Not going to lie to you. We got the host of the Divulgence podcast, Jordan, and the Habsburg Jolly West. Greetings, gents. Welcome back to Operation GCD for your actual first time.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and yes, sir. So I appreciate the invite to your old show. We talked about some Idaho 4 stuff. I had forgot to share that. And I previously shared that earlier today on YouTube, on my YouTube post. So folks can check that out. Highly recommend that because, to be quite honest with you, I appreciate that. I hadn't explained that case like that in a while and outlined in that manner. So I definitely appreciate the discourse and the ability to get some of those thoughts out of my brain hole, sir. And sir.
No, we really enjoyed that.
Dude, JJ was just machine gunning with names, and I was losing every spot because he was throwing every name. Like it was hard. It was a good show. I listened to it today, but he
mowed
was
us down, man. He just mowed us
dude,
down.
What was the green guy? And then you have what's the chick's name? The Gooch.
The Gooch. Yep, you got the Gooch and Coomer. What a bunch of ridiculous Muppet names, dude. Coomer, Scott Green, Victoria Gooch. Dude, get out of town. Technically speaking, I'm a Gooch, though, sir, from Goochland, about 7 generations back there in the Goochland area of Richmond.
Okay.
It's a neighborhood of Richmond, Virginia. That's where all the southern Gooches come from. There was a northern Gooch migration, I learned as well, though. Those are predominantly Mormon Gooches.
Old world Richmond.
Well, they came from Plymouth, like most of the Mormon heritage does. But, there was Clan Vance that came through Plymouth and Clan Vance that came through Jamestown region and Delaware later, so. Well, technically not Jamestown, but came through Delaware and met up with all the Jamestown folks. I'm just saying, looking at these migrations is interesting. The Gooches are an interesting migration.
I knew Gooches from Atlanta, Georgia, when I was a kid.
There you go.
Yeah, which is another weird sus place, but
it's just a fun name, the Gooch. A lot of folks ignore the Gooch in the Idaho 4 case. You can't ignore the Gooch.
Yeah.
You mentioned Obama, JJ. I was going to say that, dude, that chef that died, bro, he was black, man. Black people don't swim.
Well, he was paddleboarding, sir. He had a paddleboard allegedly in a pond area with no drift and no
at sunset.
At sunset. Buffalo Jared was probably nearby doing his little dance number on the beach there on the swamplands. So before we go any further, why don't you gents give us a proper introduction to your show? I recently cut a couple of them I really was interested in, especially that Mystery Babylon. I'm a big fan of the Bill Cooper Mystery Babylon stuff, and I enjoyed that conversation. But why don't you kick us all off here to this conversation? But not that Buffalo Jared fella. I want to be my PR rep. We can get back to that later if you want. But he's a real. I still can't find that Muppet. I'm always watching my 6, staying vigilant. But
Carl
give us a proper introduction here to the Divulgence podcast.
So we've been I've been doing it for been running it for 7 or 8 months now, give or take, maybe even a bit less. And I had Hadsberg join me a few months back, and yeah, we try to cover as many different things as we can. We've been doing a lot of Epstein lately, but we try to do politics, news, true crime, conspiracy, spirituality, all anything that's interesting, really. But yeah, some of the big stuff has been the Iran war and Epstein lately. And then, yeah, we had a cool one with the Mystery Babylon, like you said. And yeah, just bringing in a lot of great guests like yourself, and just trying to expose the truth to as much different things as we can. Kind of like what
for sure. I appreciate that about your old show. I appreciate the carrying on some of the older research done, like the Mystery Babylon stuff, and introducing that to the ongoing discourse, and then furthering some of that investigation of that stuff. I certainly like to do that myself in the true crime capacities.
That's an ongoing operation, Mystery Babylon.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's like, the Epstein. I checked out your all's Epstein covers too. I certainly enjoyed that as well. And I feel like the Epstein stuff and Mystery Babylon are not that far separated.
I mean, if you look, what was in the exact center of the island was a gigantic sundial. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
What's your all's take on the temple there on the island? I've heard a couple of various takes. Peter Levenda, David Berkowitz's high school friend, is interestingly enough out and about having a new take on the Epstein Island as in general, but specifically, he's the first person I ever hear call that the temple to Poseidon.
Oh,
sorry, what was his name?
Peter Levenda, Sinister Forces, Tom DeLonge's buddy, John Podesta's friend. John Podesta.
Oh, okay.
The Pizzagate guy's friend.
Okay.
No big deal. They're just old buds. They've only been running around since like '78 together. No big deal.
That was Ellen's set, right? Was there at Solomon's Temple?
I mean, it bears a striking resemblance, does it not?
No, it's got the pillars of Jokin and Boaz in it, right in the centerpiece, so
sure.
How many islands do you think they have that are like just like this one, but we don't know?
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good question, Laney. Before I answer that, why don't you introduce the Daily Dissident, what you've been working on there, bud, before we go any further?
Yeah, we'll be quick, short, and sweet, man. Find me at the Daily Dissident, wherever you get podcasts. We're there. Be square. Show up. Show out. Whatever.
Show up. Yeah.
Show up, brother. We're there. We'll be here. We'll be here when the world comes down, I guess, as it's coming down.
Well, it's interesting that you asked that. I appreciate your plugs there, sir. It's interesting you asked that because Larry Ellison, the guy that basically owns Hollywood and Silicon Valley, kind of all database networks across across America through his Oracles, talk about creepy shit, Oracle Corporation. But his son is the owner of Skydance Productions that just did all that big takeover of Warner Brothers and Paramount.
Shady as shit.
In partnership with Tom Cruise, Xenu's finest, Tom Cruise. In fact, this is we're celebrating Tom Cruise all month on Operation GCD film reviews, occult and esoteric film reviews every Wednesday here at Operation GCD. It's Tom Cruise March Madness, but yeah, that's his production partner in Skydance Productions. That's Larry Ellison's son, and Larry Ellison owns an island about 10 times the size of Great St. James, not Little St. James. Epstein also owned the island next door, named Great St. James, and the construction on Great St. James was shut down by the Virgin Islands government long after he was dead. I'm going to go wait, dead.
Dude, I mean, Lanai is so big. It's 140 square miles.
There you go. I knew it was huge.
It's almost, it's almost 1,200 times the size of Little St. James. Right. And Larry Ellison owns 98% of the landmass there. And there are volcano lava tube tunnels that access the interior of the island from the ocean.
There you go. And just to give relative comparison to the other den of iniquity we were talking about, Martha's Vineyard's a substantial size island, and that's only 100 square miles.
Yeah, I mean, Lanai is huge. And then it's like right next to, you know, Maui with all like the super creepers, like, you know, Bezos and
Zuckerberg.
and Oprah.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg's on Kauai, so he's like a few hundred miles further to the west. But like Lanai is right off of the coast of Maui, where like, you know, all these like super creeps.
Isn't that where Oprah's at? Doesn't she have that huge compound there?
Yeah, she's up on Haleakala, but Bezos is like right on La Prousse Bay in Maui, like right next to Lanai, pretty much.
What about Steve Allen? I feel like that creepster slides under the radar because there's just too many creepsters at Microsoft to keep track of.
I I don't know where he is at, but
dude,
you know what I mean? I'm sure
it's
Steve Ballmer, Steve Allen, Steve Wojcicki, these Muppets slide under the radar because other Muppets around them. You know?
Mark Benioff is like on the Kona side of a Big Island, so like not too far either. You know, like it's a lot of creepy, you know, dudes over there. So yeah, they're doing gnarly stuff on Lanai.
How far was Maui away from where they're at?
Like a couple miles, like as the crow flies. It's like literally you can see Lanai from, you know, like the Maui shore.
Do y'all think that was a directed energy weapon or what?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
We talking Jewish space lasers, sir? Is that what we're talking about?
I mean,
Marjorie Taylor Greene's Jewish space lasers.
What was the original story?
Don't you need to cue the Ted Gunderson clip when you say that?
Right. That's what got Ted. It was the Jewish space laser. Someone called Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let her know.
Yeah.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Watch your six, folks. Stand by. I got him. Right up to the was the Maui stuff. I mean, was fascinating. All the blue roof stuff.
Blue roof stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed to have a real, you know, bit of evidence behind it.
Methylene blue. You know, we could get some from Howard.
What about meth blue, dude? I'm pretty sure that's just meth. This is blue.
You gotta try that. You gotta try this methylene blue. We're selling it. They're selling.
He got confused. He's just got blue meth though. So he got confused. Bill Hicks did, that is.
These folks that'll turn your urine blue, but that's how you know it's working.
He's gone even more off the deep end recently. First of all, he's closing down every 5 minutes. I tune in to a clip. He's the IRS, the FBI. Somebody's going to come shut him down that day, right? He did a whole 40-hour fundraiser last summer. Like, oh, we're closing down tomorrow. They're kicking down. They locked us out. You know,
dude, it's
ridiculous, dude.
It's never ending now. I mean,
yeah, he's getting a lot of airtime and airplay over this whole. We're closing down in 5 minutes.
Dude, I think they set him down and told him to shut up, or we're gonna eliminate everybody you know. Basically.
Dude, they've done something to Bill Hicks. They may have cut off his blue meth supply or something. I don't know, dude, because he's gone full blown Looney Tunes. You never go full blown Looney Tunes.
Never go.
It's interesting too, now that he's like doing the whole like full bald look with the goatee. I mean, tell me that's not going for the Anton LaVey look, right?
Yeah, okay.
He looks creepy, dude. Ever since he lost 700 pounds, he looks creepy, dude.
I'm telling you, he's like trying
looks
to
very demonic with that goatee for sure.
But
yeah, he don't look right. If you look at if you look at Bill Hicks even 20 years ago, he looks so much different today.
But he is the son of a dentist,
That's what he says. He claims to be.
That was implanting people's cavities with chips.
Yeah.
Well, he claims that his family was CIA and he's a dentist. Well, that's creepy enough. But I'm willing to believe it. But there's just so many similarities between him and Bill Hicks, physical appearances, best friend, all sorts of things, right?
Both Austin, Texas.
Enough, Bill Hicks's father brought us the 2008 financial crisis. He was the VP for GMAC Loans, the GM General Motors Corporation, their mortgage wing department, which was one of the biggest. They were one of the biggest contributors to the fucking crisis.
And that was Hicks's brother.
That was Hicks's father.
Oh, well, maybe that's kind of
GMAC.
Do you think that's kind of why he was rebelling? If you listen to a lot of his material, it was, he was kind of anti-capitalism, really. I mean, the way he talked was. I mean, that's what I get from it.
It's certainly possible, but if his best friend growing up, who he in his own autobiography tells a story of how they used to sneak out to comedy clubs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's Kevin Booth. That's Alex Jones's manager and producer at one point in time. And Kevin Booth says that Alex Jones is funnier than Bill Hicks, and they joke about Alex Jones being Bill Hicks on InfoWars numerous times and laugh about it. And if he's not Bill Hicks, that's the most. Speaking of Anton LaVey, that's the most demonic shit I've ever seen, because that's dude's childhood best friend.
How do their ages line up? I can't.
7
See,
years
it's
apart,
funny.
I think.
Good
So-
question,
7?
sir. No, it's like 13 years. But Alex Jones / Bill Hicks is the most busted ass looking, like 52-year-old known to man. I think is what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah.
So how
Like
old is
if he's like, yeah, he's like 52 or 53 allegedly, and I mean, like,
Yeah,
come
he
It's
just
crazy.
turned 52, and Bill Hicks would be
52, yeah.
65. But
Okay.
he looks like a busted. He's looked like a bust when he's 45. He looks 60. You know what I mean? He got a little bit younger looking when he started working out and lost some weight, but I'll bring him some.
Maybe
pictures
that's why he
of him.
shaved the head and lost the weight to make himself look younger.
I definitely think he got some cheek
Oh, I did a
implants.
bit.
If you look, even looking at years past, he's got a lot of work done, and he's even more bragging about it now recently for some reason, because I think he's gone off the deep end. But how he used to be a member of SAG-AFTRA, and he used to get all these royalty checks for all these insurance commercials and everything else like that.
Yeah, I
And this
heard
was something
he
he
was-
hadn't divulged before.
Yeah,
Well,
he was
at-
talking. I heard. I heard that too. What podcast was that on? He was talking. I was listening. He was talking about how
Yeah.
he was
I
doing
saw
like
a clip of-
insurance ads for out in Hollywood, that he was a part of all that. And I was like, he never said that before.
That was the first time he ever divulged that such information. But it is interesting, right?
Rogan's Canyon, man. I mean, this is right. We're on the right track.
Well,
Rogan's Canyon.
Yep.
I like to call it weird scenes inside the Comedy Store, but I think I know what you're saying, sir. So it's interesting because, well, when I first ever covered this topic, this was, we'll call it May or March of 2019, some month that started with an M in the year of 2019. And I actually had someone listen to the show about Bill Hicks and Alex Jones. Sam Kinnison's first cousin once removed, or I'm sorry, disregard, second cousin. Sam Kinnison's father's first cousin's son contacts me and says their whole family thinks that Kinnison had faked that portion of the family, not like his immediate family. I'm saying dude's cousin's family, right? Thought that he faked his death and was this, on the scene as this 9/11 truther. And I actually think there was a whole movement of other Alex Joneses, if you will, that came out at the same time. One of which I had not even known about this individual until it was brought to me by some folk of the interwebs, and I, communicated back and forth with him for a bit of time on the subject, because when I was learning about it, because I never heard of this dude, but supposedly there's this one dude who's fairly litigious, so I don't really care to talk about it, but strangely he's very litigious if you talk about it, right? He claims Kinnison, some of Kinnison's extended family there. Think this is Kinnison faked his death, and if you look at Kinnison's death, it's very suspect.
Yeah. Well, so was Lenny Bruce too.
Sure.
I mean,
how did Bruce die? I mean, Kinnison died in the southern desert of California, it's a very Jim Morrison type event where there's like almost no witnesses.
You mean Rush Limbaugh?
Exactly, dude. Rush Limbaugh. Exactly. This guy knows what I'm talking about. No, I think there is a number of these kind of programs, and these are just examples of it. I don't think Brandon Lee died. There was a guy that came out in the 9/11 Truther movement also named something Green. He's long. I think
Morphine. JJ.
Morphine. We'll call him. Oh, was it Morphine OD? Yeah. I mean, anytime it's drug OD, dude, you have to ask some questions, because most people who do drugs know how to do them. You know what I mean?
Go listen to his stand-up, bro, and what he was talking about, and you'll understand why he was dead, or allegedly.
Oh, well, for sure. He was definitely a revolutionary individual as far as freedom of speech goes. That's for certain.
Absolutist, a First Amendment absolutist.
He got arrested for it numerous times.
Mm-hmm. Who was in the car with him? He got arrested with somebody else is freaking hilarious too. Him and Carlin got arrested together, and Carlin was telling a clip about it. It was pretty funny.
Well, there's another guy that came about in the Truth and Movement
think.
along the same times of Alex Jones, and he used to call Alex Jones was later a guest on The View, which is strange, right? Alex Jones talking about conspiracy theories on The View. There's an individual that used to call into The View back in the early 2000s. He would go by the name of John Connor, as if he was LARPing as John Connor from the Terminator, but he was always talking about conspiracy theories. And why is The View, Barbara Walters and gang in the early 2000s talking to having this John Connor person call in? Couldn't tell you. Never watched The View. I just seen some of these clips and they're fucking weird. That individual sounds exactly like Mark Dice. Mark Dice happens to look identical to Rivers Phoenix. I'm just saying. He jokes about it on the show, how he looks identical to Rivers Phoenix. I mean,
And Alex Jones would bring Mark Dice on.
There you go, sir. They like to cross over their whole networks. You can once you start picking out these people, you can see that they all work together.
Yeah. Andrew Dice Clay.
Well, I don't think that's
is that the same Dice, or is that
that's a stage
the
name.
Dice.
This guy goes
He's
by
the
the name
Dice.
of Mark Dice.
Okay.
Now Andrew Dice Clay, he's got a Jewish name. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure he's a Jewish name.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Jack.
That's why Whoopi Goldberg changed her
Jack
name to Whoopi
Rubenstein.
Goldberg, dude, to get a job in Hollywood. She actually
They all
says that
do,
shit.
bro. They all change their
most
names,
of them
bro.
change
Jack
their names,
Rubenstein.
yeah, sure.
There you go. Well, that's going the other way. She was jumping in on the game. He was leaving the game.
These guys, JJ, have you listened to their JFK episode with Corey Hughes? I listened to it today. That was an excellent show you guys done.
Thanks, man.
I want to get in touch with
I like the topic for sure. What would you go? I know I'm vaguely familiar with some of his. He did a whole new book on JFK, right?
Yeah.
So, is that what you guys are talking about?
We talked a bit about his books. He's got a volume 2 to his most recent one coming out soon. I'd love to. Maybe we could do some sort of like 5, panel show on JFK.
Sure.
Bring him on with us. That'd be cool. Because he's great.
I think
He's great. He's done a lot of research and he knows a lot of shit. And he's
the kosher mob,
deep, right?
Sorry, what was that, JJ?
He went real deep in uncovering some new elements. It's what I'm saying. It's not the same old JFK, researcher book.
No, he's got some interesting. Yeah, he's got some interesting stuff. I've had a few people on that have like very, I guess you can call it niche stuff that people just haven't given too much attention to. Had Donald Jeffries on as well. He's got a newer book on Kennedy. It's interesting. Yeah, Don's great. Too.
Yeah, I had him on my show too.
I was about to say, Landon interviewed him for sure. Yeah, I listened. That was a good show.
Nice.
So, what's the biggest thing that y'all in your Corey Hughes conversation that was the biggest new element to y'all about the JFK business? Because y'all pretty keen and sharp on a lot of these details I've noticed, and I'm sure you picked up on some new stuff there.
Yeah, I think. I have to go back to my notes, but I think we did talk a lot about. I mean, it always goes back to the Jews, right? We talked a lot about some of the Jewish involvement.
Like Landon's example there with Jack Rubenstein, aka Jack Ruby.
Right.
The New Orleans gang,
classic.
baby, the NOLA gang.
Classic.
Are you are you all familiar with some of the more high weirdness around that situation? Not the King Kill 33 stuff specifically. We can talk about that, but there was a show back in the 60s. It was based upon Ken Kesey and his fucking bus tour, right? You all know what I'm talking about? Y'all ever heard of this kind of show? Is this something y'all ever heard of?
What's the show?
I don't know. I was hoping you would know.
No.
The name
No,
of it?
I'll come up with it in a second. But it was a big show in the early 60s, and it'll come back to my brain. But it was based on the Ken Kesey bus tour, and these dudes were kind of going around solving mysteries. And there's a bunch of weird elements of the Kennedy assassination preceded in that show, and starring an episode with Tuesday Weld, strangely enough, one of my favorite characters to talk about. That Muppet is allegedly a high priestess in some occult business in Hollywood. And there seems to be a lot of evidence around the years to support that, dating back to the 60s when she started this. And the day the music died, that's allegedly the anthem by her boyfriend, then boyfriend Don McLean, of how she took over the music industry, and it sounds very much like a bragging about a ritual satanic situation going on there. The death of Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly.
Well, what about Carrie Thornley and the Discordians and like Carrie Thornley, being like
the
hand.
That's super high weirdness. There you go. That's some good stuff.
But he was like, he wrote a book about Lee Harvey Oswald, and their service together in the Marines. I mean, it's like, that's the weirdest thing ever, right?
Well, and he's running around with the Process Church when they invaded New Orleans during the Garrison investigation.
And he like started the Discordian Society, and I mean, like that's.
I think that's an offshoot of the Process, because it's a chaos cult, which is the Process is a chaos cult, and the first Discordian Bible was printed in Jim Garrison's office there in New Orleans.
And right, and I think that it had like the 4 Pi cult in Santa Cruz. I think that there's a big connection through like the Discordians and Robert Anton Wilson, who was like the one who popularized the Discordians, with his like Illuminatus books, and
he popularized all this current Illuminati stuff too, in large part through those Illuminatus books and the Playboy magazine articles, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Playboy.
Yeah, Robert Anton Wilson was like the spook of all spooks, like, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think that he was like a big link between, like the Discordians and, like the 4 Pi that was going on in Santa Cruz.
I like where your brain holds that, sir. Can you put a pin in there real quick? We got a special moment here at Operation GCD.
What's that?
RR channel, you Muppet, good to see you. I miss you like a sailor misses venereal disease. Tell the rest of your Muppet Langley Muppets to go fuck themselves. But yes, Don McLean might actually be from your Langley Muppetville, McLean, Virginia, or the same McLeans. His family goes back to the Society of Cincinnati. I have to see what they named that after, but I'm sure it's a member of the McLean or McLean clan there. But Don McLean's third great grandfather was Lieutenant Colonel McLean, Lieutenant Colonel John McLean, not to be confused with Die Hard's John McClane, but John McLean of the New York chapter. But no, I like where your brain was at on the whole there's all these offshoots. It's not just, 4 Pi is a great example, but I think there's many, many others, because their system is driven by that, right? Within their little satanic ego driven kind of system.
Multifaceted.
Well, they got 4 gods, and that's going to probably, splinter off into 16 gods. Then you got 32 gods, and then 64. I think it's endless in some regards.
And 4 Pi, 4P is like, the Process, logo is 4 Ps, so.
But. Yeah, no, I think it becomes very popular because it becomes a thing where, you're already going after this occult knowledge, and there's this kind of secretive kind of thing that gets talked about and whispered within these occult circles. And you want to there's a certain element that's going to be driven to that. Your Epstein element, right? We're seeing that in all the Epstein related. There's a lot of occultism, I think, is being ignored around the Epstein stuff, but it goes back to the to understand that. I think you have to understand that where all the occultism around the JFK situation and how that was had it served a much more ritualistic purpose on above the King Kill 33 aspects to it. I mean, it's deep.
Where is there a burger element to this, JJ?
There's the Lord of mercy. I hope there's a burger element to all this. Kind of hungry. I'm a bison rancher.
But there is a Discordian element to the Epstein thing, and this is just crazy. But I looked up, like in Discordianism, like they say hail Eris, like Eris, the goddess of discord, right? And Playboy magazine, exactly. He was the editor, Robert Anton Wilson.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
But so I in the DOJ files I searched Eris, ERIS, and no shit. There is like an email for for an account on apple.com, and it was Eris at ERIS at apple.com, and it was telling him that his storage was maxed out. But at Eris at apple.com is like a total Discordian like coding, because
For sure.
it's, you know, the whole, you know, like mythology of Eris and where the Discordian like cult comes from is that she was the goddess of discord, and through at the wedding of one of the gods and goddesses, you know, through an a golden apple, you know, because she wasn't
some sort of alchemical process, right?
Yeah, and it said Callisti, to the most beautiful, and so the you know, Venus and so Aphrodite and one of the other goddesses like got in an argument, you know, about who is the most beautiful, who did the apple belong to, and recruited Paris, who was a human, to be the judge. He sided with Aphrodite, and she promised him the most beautiful woman on earth was Helen of Troy, and it started the Trojan Wars. So like Eris and the apple is like the foundation of like the Discordian mythos. And so Jeffrey Epstein had the email address Eris at apple.com.
Yeah, I think he had some deep occultism. That's a good point. I was unfamiliar with, sir. I appreciate using your brain over there.
I mean, I found that it just
intended
blew my
purposes.
mind. Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's kind of how I felt when I saw his signature for the very first time. And I was going through all the Epstein files about Florida. I was like, holy shit, what is this Muppet doing signing the infinity symbol and everything? And I was like, what does that mean? Because I wasn't really big in, I had not, you know, hadn't really dove too much into occultism at the time. And I started looking at that more. I'm like, well, it's common use. It seems to be as the magician's signature. Whether or not that was his intended purposes, I wasn't there. I couldn't tell you. But it seems to be. Because you look at Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, she's married to Jack Parsons' #2 dude and his little Suicide Squad son, Melina.
Yeah.
Wasn't she working for Dell too at one point? JJ,
Dude, you're getting Adele.
Well,
Remember that old? They got a lot of money out of that marketing campaign. Whoever did came up with that was smart. It was a good Muppet. But
no,
yeah, I think. Well, I think all these computers. I don't know if it was Dell, but it was somebody down there in Dallas. It must have been Dell. I don't know. It was Gateway down there. Ghislaine's boyfriend, Gateway.
Might have been HP. Maybe HP.
Well,
the
two sisters, Christine and Isabel, they had an internet company too. They had like an ISP company in the early 90s in Silicon Valley.
So you're telling me
they sell it to Magellan or somebody? It was an early search engine. They sold it to one of the big search engines in Silicon Valley. I'll look it up. I think it was Magellan. But Uncle Ted, who's often in the chat, reminds me that, or is often giving me notes on where he, you know, things that are related to the Promise software, Epstein included. I sent him back a message on Twixter a couple of weeks ago because it seems like Epstein was running a Promise software operation out of that New Mexico ranch. But it seems like the Maxwell sisters got a copy of Promise, perhaps from their father, Robert Maxwell, who some of the known knowns about that is we know Robert Maxwell was running around selling and distributing the Promise software for intelligence, the Western intelligence, enterprises.
Well,
so,
JJ,
because you think about where do some of these search, Rothschild intelligence services, if you will. In league with the Vatican, of course. But what are your all's thoughts on some of this Promise stuff being some of the early interwebs activities? I mean, DARPA developed the interwebs. I mean, we have the founder. Well, I don't want to go down the DARPA too far down there, but we do know the ARPANET originates is the early interwebs, and that comes from DARPA.
Well,
so
I mean, in Epstein was like
and early search engines.
I mean, he was like going on trips to the USSR, or maybe it was like Russia by then, but with Esther Dyson, who like she's the head of the foundation that has like created all of like the web protocols, like for like the actual like World Wide Web, like Esther Dyson. Like, I mean, there's pictures of them like hanging out in Soviet Russia.
Don't you find it weird though, the name World Wide Web? Like, we're all caught in this
web. Should be flat Earth web,
yeah.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Some occult meaning behind the name too, man.
So JJ, what was the symbol that you said is in Epstein's signature? I'm just looking at it now.
Oh, let me bring it up for you. It's the magician's signature is what they call it. It's the infinity symbol, like the horizontal
8.
Oh,
8.
okay, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
He signs like dating back decades, dude. He signs everything that way.
And it is on the Magician Tarot card, right? Like
It is on the
infinity
Magician
symbol?
Tarot card, so you are correct. And I looked through some magical works, and they described that symbol. Some, there was from the, I didn't get too early, but I think one of them was Eliphas Levi was describing it as the magician's symbol, and that's who a lot of folks, even Crowley, venerates and claim to be the reincarnation of Eliphas Levi. That's who creates the Baphomet, the current modern day Baphomet, which is not at all remotely connected to the Knights Templar Baphomet, and that's a hill I'll also die on. Because I've that's one of my, that was, what is this?
The new
You got a new Baphomet, dude, like the new Batman? I see the new Batman. It's not very good.
The new Baphomet ain't no good neither, man. It's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Is it like, if it's anything like the new Coke, get it out of here, buddy. So yeah, I'll bring it. I can bring up that magician signature stuff here in a second if you want. But this is that JFK stuff I was talking about. I told you to come back to my brain hole. It was a show called Route 66. There was an episode in 1962 called, and this was based upon, you had Martin Milner and as Todd Stiles, a recent college graduate with no future prospects because of circumstances beyond his control. He was originally joined on his travels by Buzz Murdoch, played by George Maharis, a friend and former employee of his father. So there was an age difference there, but this was supposed to, it was kind of loosely based upon the whole, what's the bus trip? I can't think of the
further.
There you go, sir. The Further bus. I went to the Further Festival one time. That was kind of dumb, but because I was a Grateful Dead fan at the time, and you can't, like, it's like Leonard Skinner now isn't Leonard Skinner. There's not even an original member of the band left. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, we actually, me and Jordan did an episode about Grateful Dead, so there's a whole lot of sus stuff behind that, including obviously
big time, dude, big time. So this is a major show. Like, you could look at all these guest actors that were on there, right? I mean, anyone who was anybody in Hollywood did an appearance on Route 66. And at the year prior to JFK's death, they preceded his Element's death in an episode of this, starring Tuesday Will. How weird is that?
There you go.
It was called
Route 66 is kind of like an interesting thing too. I mean, there's weird stuff that goes on along there. Like, doesn't that go through like like all
Scottish Rite,
like,
because it's 2,400 miles divided by 66 gives you like 32.9 degrees. It's like, it's weird. It's weird.
Okay. But doesn't it basically go through like White Sands and Roswell and like all these places, like
big time.
Yeah.
So all these very
Nazi places, ends up in Santa Monica, like at the pier.
Well, I think it goes coast to coast, right? Mm-hmm. Like Route 50 does. Route 50 goes from I think Baltimore to Sacramento.
Yeah, like through Lake Tahoe. Yeah, Route 50.
Through Lake Tahoe, through the Donner Pass, right? Through the Mormon cannibals.
Yep, just south of the Donner Pass. Yeah.
So this is a weird math to even open up the show with, but Tuesday Weld, again, I think is a very deep occultist within Hollywood. We hear about her in all the songs from the 60s. The Beatles sing, Ruby Tuesday. You had the Rolling Stones' Stupid Bloody Tuesday. You had the Beach Boys. She was Barbara Ann. She sang on the song Barbara Ann as the female vocals, and she starred in an occult film that year where her character's name was a Viking priestess, a cult priestess she starred in. It's probably more of a druid tale, though, it seems, right? If you look at it. And she was named Barbara Ann in there.
No.
See the Mothman? Is that what you said?
No, I said the Green Man.
Oh, the Green Man. Oh, yeah, Pan. Yep.
That is weird, though, that she was in West Virginia.
It's super creepy because you got a show here. It opens up with Kilkenny, Texas, right? Go ahead, sir. What were you saying?
I was just saying it goes through Point Pleasant. 66 does.
Oh, it might. Yeah, I don't know. Does it?
That's weird.
Is that what it said?
Scorber said ley lines in the chat, so I think that's what that was saying. Yeah, read that. Was it Pure Mysteries?
Yeah, West Virginia State Road 66.
Okay.
But I don't think it goes that far north.
No, there's Mothman sightings on Route 66, is what it's saying.
But Route 66, I think, starts like US 66. I think starts in New Mexico, doesn't it?
Well, that's a good question. I thought it went coast to coast, but I could be wrong. Right across the south.
Art Bell style or what?
Yeah, it goes from Chicago to Santa Monica.
Goes from Chicago to, yep.
I was thinking it went further, just like to Atlanta. But okay, Chicago to Santa Monica. Okay. Well, let's plan a popular road trip. It says. Let's see what it's got for us here.
That whole Bay of Pigs thing
on Route 66.
Yeah, it goes right.
It goes here,
right north of Sedona,
right through St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis,
right through Peoria's.
OKC,
Springfield. That's the old Mormon territories right here in this regions.
Yep.
Independence, Missouri.
A lot of mounds in there, right?
A lot of mounds in there. A lot of mounds. This is the middle of fucking nowhere. This region right here. This whole vicinity.
Amarillo.
Goes right by Jeff Epstein's house, dude.
Yeah. There. Like literally right through there.
Nice.
Yep.
Right by Epstein's. Right by Jeff's.
Ooh, I've had some weird experiences in this region. You're on to stay out of this region. This whole region's pretty bad. Navajo territory, very creepy villas around there. Flagstaff, all right, that place kind of sucks, man. But this is Mormon cult territory up in here. You want to stay out of that altogether right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're in Kingman, Arizona. You go right just south of the Mojave Desert. Okay.
And
that's a fun one. Good, sir.
Is it how close does it go to Ridgecrest in California, like where the
Ridge.
Yeah, do you know what's going on there?
Tetragrammaton, dude.
What's that?
Is that the Tetragrammaton thing?
No, Ridgecrest is where they have like the largest arsenal of weapons.
Oh, that's China Lake.
Navy.
China Lake.
Ridgecrest is China Lake. Yeah, exactly.
That Marine base is out there. What's it called?
We were just talking about China Lake.
29 Palms.
29 Palms. Yeah,
29 Palms.
What is the Bluegrass conspiracy?
Well, I was going to say, I'll let Lane. I was going to tee one up for Lane in there to describe that to us, because one of the elements of the Bluegrass conspiracy included Colonel Sanders, not real Colonel Sanders, the 33rd degree Freemason, cocaine Colonel Sanders. That's the guy who took over the KFC, bought the KFC brand and made it to what it is today. His name was John Y. Brown. He was the former governor of Kentucky. He stole Cocaine Bob Evans' wife, Miss America, from Cocaine Bob, Phyllis something.
It wasn't his daughter, JJ. Wasn't that governor's daughter involved in it too? The whole that whole
it was a family enterprise. It was his attorney and best friend's son, Drew Thornton III. He was the guy that had all them guns and the $2,000 loafers and like camo fatigues and machine guns.
Barry Steele Jr. That was
jumped out of the aircraft with all that cocaine and brought the world Cocaine Bear, the fabulous film Cocaine Bear.
That was terrible.
Y'all familiar with that?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. But another thing about
Drew Thornton was under indictment. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Well, I was going to say, like, when you mentioned Bear and Kentucky, like Owsley Stanley, who made all the acid back in the 60s, who funded the Grateful Dead. Yeah. I mean, his nickname was Bear, but he was from Kentucky. His grandfather was the governor of Kentucky and was also a U.S. senator from Kentucky. This was his father's father. And I mean, like, they were like elite, Kentucky, bluegrass, blood, whatever.
Old Jamestown family, if you will, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Owsleys, I mean, like, really like high level in Kentucky. And, and he Owsley Stanley voluntarily committed himself to St. Elizabeth's Hospital in DC for 15 months when he was a teenager, which is where L. Ron Hubbard, trained, before he started.
Isn't that where they had John Hinckley for weekends? The guy that shot Reagan.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He's a musician. He's a
Yeah,
musician.
he's out of jail
Yes.
now. He's out of Lenny Ben. He's a touring musician now.
So weird.
I would get him on my show, bro.
But
If he
yeah,
would come on, I'd get him
Kentucky,
on.
like, you know, there's
Well, if
some
you track
weird
if you
stuff.
track all these things from the West Coast, I mean, on that same line of what you're saying there, sir. If you track all these things, even on the West Coast, it all goes back to Appalachia.
A lot of it does, man. A lot of it does.
Well, almost all of the Manson family situation at Cielo Drive goes back to Logan County, West Virginia, strangely enough, including the process church attorney John Markham the second. His cousin Phil Markham. Usually, I just call people Phil, and I don't remember their name, but this guy's actual name is Phil. Phil Markham took over Jay Sebring's hair salon and drug enterprise in the wake of Sebring's death. The Process Church's literal cousin, and they come from just south of Logan County in Washington County, Virginia, but the southwest, deep in Appalachia.
And he is like cutting hair. He was like a hairstylist.
Yeah, so John
Or
Markham
whatever.
II was the Process Church attorney. His cousin Phil Markham became the number 2 to Jay Sebring in his enterprise and took over once in his death. After his previous number 2, his protege, quit and became Elvis's full-time spiritual guide and traveled with Elvis Presley everywhere, starting in '68. Because Manson threw Elvis out of his mansion in Bel Air in the summer of '68, and Elvis packed up shop out of the Hollywood Hills and went back to Memphis.
Which is another real sus place.
Oh, you ain't kidding, sir. It's a mound
Jeez.
city. You got a big pyramid up there. It's all
Yep.
sorts of weird stuff there, right?
And
What year was that?
and now it's like the biggest data center in the world. The XAI, the Grok data center, is right next to
Oh,
it.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't-
in Memphis,
I
too.
didn't know they put that in Memphis. All right.
Oh
Yeah, they're pissed
dude.
off. Watch the YouTube documentary, bro. Those chicks are going crazy. Like, yo, we don't want this thing here, man. It's great. Go watch it. It's good. They got a documentary on it because they're burning these
Isn't that-
diesel generators 24/7, bro.
Isn't that
And
the one
they're-
in
Yeah, I was
Mississippi?
about to say, according to
Do what?
Politico, it says I can't breathe.
It's in Memphis.
Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
it's
there's-
like
they
in-
just put one in Mississippi too, and there was like a huge battle over that. So I thought that's what I thought you were referring to.
Well, it's,
Bro,
it's,
you're
it's
gonna
on,
see-
it's on the Mississippi River, but right next to Mississippi, because Memphis is like on the,
Bro,
on the river.
How is it these tech centers are just taking over things and like the local governments just have to sign them? Like, what's going on right now? Is this a matter of national security or something? Because local municipalities are just signing off on the permits and letting them just build shit. It's crazy.
I think something's up.
Something's obviously up, dude. They're forcing these data centers places onto people, dude. It's weird. It's getting weird.
Well,
dude.
they can't run they can't process all through their computers. They have to have clean water. That's the main thing. It's not so much of power. I mean, the power can get there. It's relatively hard, but the water is the main problem because if you've watched people, they were talking about this in like the 60s, talking about how the next greatest commodity is going to be water. And that's crazy to think. And if you read into this enough and how much these are consuming of clean water, quote unquote clean. I mean, I don't know what chlorine does to your PC there, Elon. Figure that one out. But I guess I wonder if they're going to be, what were they dousing it with? Fluoride. I wonder what the fluoride will make the AI retarded. That would be pretty cool.
Well, look at this one, dude. Rowan County gave a private developer $4.2 million in taxpayer money to buy farmland. Then that private developer sold it to a company to build a data center, dude. So they didn't even spend their own money. They're just literally forcing on people, signing the permits, giving them taxpayer money, and then I'm sure they're getting some kickbacks involved there, but there's got to be something going on there. There's always kickbacks.
Are you guys familiar with like NVIDIA and the handoff? Yeah, the taxpayers are footing the bill for this because NVIDIA, Oracle, all these guys are just trading stock between each other. ChatGPT, they'll buy so many NVIDIA chips, and then NVIDIA will have to get I forgot, it was like their how far out they would be to be able to produce, so they'll have to order more chips, and it's just like this full circle effect. It's really weird if you watch
It's one big ass blast.
Yeah, it's getting subsidized by the government because of the AI arms race. I mean, it's the new.
Oh, dude, it's crazy, dude. They're jacking up everyone's prices for utilities. Though they're not. The power companies aren't fitting the bill. The data centers and tech companies aren't fitting the bill. They're passing it on to the rest of the consumers.
Right, but
It's
we're
crazy.
free.
It's literally Looney Tunes going on right
We're
now.
free here, JJ. We're free here.
No, it's totally free, dude. It's totally free. Jeffrey Epstein said so, dude. He said everything's
Have
free.
you looked into any of these power companies? How big of a monopoly it is?
One of them's on trial for corruption in Ohio right now for paying off the senator.
I was telling you about the.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to walk if they didn't walk this past week. But I mean, yeah, dude, they're all corrupt, dude.
Appalachian Power there. If you guys check out a case, I've been kind of following up on it in Wyoming County. They had like 10,000 gallons of, I think it was diesel, fell out of a transformer. So there's plenty of yeah, there's a guy on YouTube that was going around documenting. It's freaking eco-terrorism. Me and JJ were discussing that too. Like, it's not just like by accident. These are purposeful, planned events, like the train derailments that seem to disappear from everyone's mind frame within 30 days. You know how much pollutant that done to the Ohio River, which in return does pollutant to the Mississippi River. So it's a pretty big majority of them, and all the streams coming down from that in Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois. Everything coming from there, it's probably not good. But yeah, they just kind of, it's eco-terrorism.
Oh, dude, it sounds like it. I looked in that the other day.
Clean up what's left of a mineral oil leak happening in Wyoming County. And that was back in January. We first reported to you about that, making its way into R.D. Bailey Lake, which is right on the Mingo County line. WSC's Luke Hamilton reporting on how much oil spilled and where crews are in that cleanup process and the area's concerns moving forward.
Equipment failure at an Appalachian power station in Wyoming County, leaving oil in the creek in January. After recent winter storms, some of this oil.
I mean, it looks like it was a pretty big mess. And it looks like they don't give a shit about it. Like, oh, they could have closed the lock system, it sounds like, if they were. It just seems like they want it to be there. I mean, I was in Huntington, West Virginia back in January of last year, dude, and it didn't snow a lot, just enough for a dusting. But that dusting left a greasy oil residue all over my car, dude. Like what's in the sky, you know?
But it's not just there, JJ. It's everywhere. It's like you said, it's everywhere. Literally, it's a war on multiple fronts.
Dude, there's a massive drought in Texas right now. They've run out of water in some of their reservoirs. We don't have any water here in Montana, dude. I got to feed the bison the shit, grass and hay and whatnot, and other nutrients because the water has not been here, and there ain't no snow melting here in the spring because there ain't no snow in the mountains. It's 90 degrees in Denver today or tomorrow or some nonsense.
So what's his name from that guy Augustus Dorico going to cloud seed some more clouds there and flood a bunch of 4-H camp girls, and then gets on Sean Ryan and tells us that geoengineering is not real and they are not doing it. It's just right in front of your face.
Forgot about that incident, dude.
Never happened, JJ. It never happened. That's not real.
But they can use them for the opposite too, which I think is what's going on here right now. Is like, you know, they can see these clouds to like suck them, not just like create rainstorms, but to like suck the moisture out so that it causes drought and like, you know, like, yeah, it makes for like, you know, fire season, you know, like danger here, like here in Southern Oregon, you know, like it hasn't rained like all year, you know, and we're gonna have like unbelievable fire season this year. And, you know, so that's the other thing that they can do. Like they can put desiccants up in those, you know, spray lines and, you know, and make it where it's like drawing the moisture, you know, out of the air so it won't rain, you know? So that's the other thing.
Yeah, it seems to be a full-scale fire attack, right? Some new warfare on the population.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, yeah, you can flood, but you can also like, you know, make a drought and, you know, make it where it's like everything's going to burn. So,
yeah.
Dude,
it looks like a robot getting arrested in China, dude. Macau.
Yeah, this video is great, man. Like some robot was like following this old Chinese lady and just freaking her out. And then, yeah, the cops had to take him away.
Well, that's
So
it's
funny,
interesting. That's like the
Yeah,
Chinese
real.
Las Vegas. Like it's pretty swanky there in the island nation of Macau, and they're
Yeah.
trying to make
They got some
Vegas
interesting
more
stuff.
like Macau. You know what I mean? Like the higher end kind of crowd. So that's wild.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
realize
can-
they had robot humanoids over there, but I mean that would be a
You
very
can,
swanky place to have such a thing.
They have shops there where you can strap on these like mechanical booster things that help you. Like you can like barely, like if you start slowly tipping toeing, it'll do all the movements for you and it'll walk for you. So if you start walking, you'll start speed walking, and if you start running, you'll start like just going. And like that sounds fun as hell. That would be fun to do, just running around the street with these mechanical boosters on.
That does sound pretty wild. I have seen clips of that. You know, I have seen some of those
Yeah,
wild
that
things they're
sounds super
inventing
cool.
over there. They got those they got some pretty wild little boots you put on for like they're like little propellers for your boots to go through the water at like 5, 10. I mean, it gets you a good clip like 5 knots or some nonsense. I mean, they aid in swimming. They're not doing all the work for you necessarily, but they're propelling you through the water. So I appreciate some Ghostbusters humor. Did y'all ever notice at the beginning of both Ghostbusters, the first 2 Ghostbusters films, are nothing but MKUltra experiments? Did y'all ever notice that? They're doing the little flashcards and zapping somebody when they get it wrong, right? And then number 2, Egon takes away Go ahead, sir.
They're the Zener cards. The Zener cards, right?
Yeah. And then number 2, Egon they're doing the experiment on the family, making them argue. That little girl, he's like, "Oh, now take away the puppy." You know what I mean? These are all examples of different MKUltra experiments they show in the opening sequences of both first 2 Ghostbusters. And Aykroyd, who's got a deep history of occultism within his family, and who bought processed church member Mama Cass there, Scientologist processing Mama Cass home there in Hollywood. And then later he started opposite Tuesday Weldon of 1990, circa 95, called Feeling Minnesota, with Keanu Reeves and Courtney Love. Speaking of Epstein's pal Courtney Love, and CIA and Grateful Dead. She's kind of the epicenter of a lot of that activity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's whoring herself out and handing out LSD for the CIA at the age of like 10.
She's MI6,
That's
right?
Crazy. What's that, sir?
Well, and
MI6,
supposedly her dad Hank was dosing her when she was like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, he told a different story on the Ed Alperman report interviews I heard. He said that was a lot of what her mother said. Her mother was a trust fund baby, apparently. As legend goes, supposedly Marlon Brando's her grandfather. Speaking of private islands, Brando's had his own private island since the 60s.
Yeah.
Down in there in French Polynesia. You can go stay there. He's got a resort there today.
It's crazy.
Did John McAfee have an island?
John McAfee was an island dude. He's a one-man circus and a one-man island. Wherever he went, he seemed to not.
Dude,
he seemed to never have to really go by any laws anywhere, right? Like he claimed the Belizean government was after him, but like, dude, he was doing so much hood rat shit in that nation for so long. Like, so he had protection somewhere.
Well, he probably either had protection or a lot of dirt, one of the two.
That could be it too. I believe by his own admission, that he admitted to having witches come in there and cast some rituals or spells on his software.
Yeah, it's not.
So I think he was. I don't think you get to that level without being an occultist. Quite honestly,
you have to, bro. You have to. You got to sell that soul. You got to
cross
that line.
That's why the Bechtel's are so popular. They're big. They're deep in Bohemian Grove. And speaking of Bohemian Grove and Robert Anton Wilson, from we were talking about earlier, would you believe that he lived in the same town as Bohemian Grove and never once spoke of it? Mr. Illuminati. Mr. Illuminati never mentions the Illuminati in his backyard. That's fucking interesting.
Alex Jones was let into there.
Alex Jones is a member of there, if you ask me.
Yeah. And what's his name too? James O'Keefe.
What's with all these people breaking into Bohemian Grove lately over the last couple of years?
It seems popular, right? It seems like a new meme, right?
Yeah, like it seems like it seems like the new podcast meme to do is to like break into the Grove. It's like
the break into Area 51 thing. It's not quite as you didn't quite take off, but it seems kind of popular.
Yeah, Storm 51. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of that stuff grows out. Like it's interesting when you start looking at some of these psyops and maybe this meme culture that's more
Romantic warfare.
It's not a grassroots thing, right? It's more of a astroturfing situations. We see it right now with Bigfoot, dude. There is a current, in my estimations, in my opinion, there is a current wide-scale operation that's gone from Barstool Sports to Fox News everywhere about this Ohio Bigfoot flap, right?
I've seen it, JJ. I've seen it.
And that's what's coming up on
Oh,
Operation
yeah, I
GCD
saw that
Sundays.
too. Yeah, man. Lots of sightings lately.
Dude, everywhere, dude. Everyone's talking about there's a laser tag Ted quality of evidence.
We believe,
right?
baby. We believe.
We believe. But I'm going to do an anatomy of a Bigfoot psyop on Sundays this week. Because really, even the first guy that finds Bigfoot prints was CIA, and that's out there in Oregon.
Yeah, what's the Sierra Sound? Or no, that's Patterson Gremlin, right?
There's a CIA fellow up and down the southern Oregon into Bluff Creek regions that was finding all these Bigfoot tracks, and he's the one who was starting to find all these moles and stuff in the 50s. The same time that old Bill Colby's old boss there, or associate, I'm disregarding, was doing the psychological operations in the Philippines with vampires, trying to convince all the local populace, weaponizing before Michael Aquino was weaponizing folklore in and around Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia and during the 60s. His predecessor, whose name is Muppet's name is escaping.
Lonsdale. What was it?
Lansdale, thank you, sir. Edward Lansdale. Yep. Yeah, Aquino was reporting to he was reporting to Lansdale and Colby there at the Saigon U.S. Embassy in Saigon in Viet fucking name. And if you look at Aquino's actions, it makes sense. He did a lot of the things. He took it a step further and took it up a couple notches, but of what Lansdale was already doing in the Philippines in the 50s. But if you look at that same concept of weaponizing folklore, well, then that's kind of makes sense of what was going on around all this Bigfoot stuff. If they're weaponizing suddenly, the CIA guy in the 50s is finding all this. He's also I believe he's also the guy behind the abominable snowman nonsense over there in Asia, or Yeti. I'm sorry, he's the Yeti guy as well, if I'm not mistaken. His name's escaping me at the moment, but we're seeing it right now. There's no evidence. There's one Twixter account that posted about 4 sightings over 4 days, and suddenly every media, dude, even Fox News is covering it.
They love a good whale story on Fox.
Oh, for sure.
What's your old gents on? I know we're landing sits on Bigfoot. We believe. What are your old Bigfoot thoughts and ideas there on the subject?
I mean, how come? I don't know. I mean, if it's out there, then it must be more than some. It must be some sort of mystical fucking creature, because, right?
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Landon? Because
that's where I like.
Because
that's where
there's
I like
a reason why it's so elusive and so, hard to catch. Hard to see. Never mind catch. So yeah, that's my thought. Really, I mean, it's possible, but if it is real, then there's something else going on there, for sure.
Sure.
I mean, dude,
I'm into that, dude. I'm into that for sure.
Dude, I live in the Cascade Mountains. I mean, I see Bigfoot all the time out there picking mushrooms, man. Are you kidding me? It's morel season. It's morel season now. What do you think that guy's doing right now? He's picking mushrooms.
It's just illegal. It's illegal to film them. That's all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's illegal to film Bigfoot over there.
That's my buddy. I see him all the time out here.
You wouldn't throw him under the bus,
bro. They just scramble your camera, man. That's what happens.
Is that what it is?
Scrambled. Yeah, dude.
No, they have invisibility technology. They just go. They got some predator technology.
They cloak. That was that story in Ohio. You remember that one about the cloaking Bigfoot?
Yeah, but that's Michael Aquino's buddy and part of the aviary. The same people that tell us that aliens like strawberry ice cream.
Is that the photo? Is that
look at it was
photo?
cheesier. Yes.
No, none of these are real photos. They don't have any photos out of this current flap, right? There's no photos. It's just all the reports go back to one podcast, right? One Twixter account.
Yeah.
This sounds like a wonderful.
Oh, it is.
It was in
Ohio.
It was in Ohio. Where was the sighting?
Portage County, Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
It all erupts from one account.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, sir?
So in Northeast Ohio, that's like close to West Virginia, right?
No, it's about 45 minutes an hour southeast of Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
But this Barstool Sports here today, when I first seen this, they call these people out, dude, for making a bunch of Bigfoot shit. And then the Bigfoot account that started all this thanked them for retweeting it. So even calling people out, they're giving it more attention, you know. But he calls it this Bigfoot. This is the actual originator of all this stuff.
That photo is just awful. Like, here we go.
Center.
This is all the evidence.
This report was just received by the
from this fucking guy.
Literally
from this guy, yeah. He didn't even wash his hair before filming this. Wash your hair, buddy.
Witness is the head.
Oh man, at least put a comb through that fucking thing.
Yeah, wear a hat.
TCR.
Possibly invest in a nice bandana, or headband.
For sure.
They locked eyes with a 9-foot-tall, brown-haired Sasquatch. The terrifying thing is that this happened in the broad.
Was this guy on Epstein's Island?
Well, I think he's on some of that. I think he's on some of that blue meth with Alex Jones.
Efforts, can't trust him on Bigfoot.
I mean, he kind of looks like an AI, doesn't he?
Oh, that's a good point.
He looks like Bat Day. They, them. Bat Day.
Let me find his actual account here on Twixter. I retweeted or quoted it saying, another CIA Bigfoot operation or something like that.
Was that Blurry Creatures?
You said? Remote area of Ohio.
Ahead, I mean, it's. I was just saying that was Blurry Creatures. That was a podcast I listened to a lot way back in the day.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah, they have a pretty big show now. Oddly enough, that was that first tweet you pulled up was from them. But oddly enough, the co-host of that show is Aaron Rodgers' brother, which is very weird.
Oh, the Barstool. Oh, I see what you're talking about.
No, it's Blurry Creatures. That's the podcast name.
Oh, Blurry Creatures. Oh, this thing. Oh, this one. Okay,
Aaron Rodgers' brother is a podcaster?
Yes, bro.
On a show called Blurry Creatures?
It ain't just a show, dude. It is the show for Bigfoot and that.
Oh, my bad, dude. My apologies.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. No, they're pretty.
We got a little DeLorean action going here too. Looks like
they're grifting pretty hard, and I'll say it right now.
That's such a lame fucking logo, man. Wow, like that UAP is way too close to that car, man. I'm not buying it.
There'd be some sort of wind turbulence, is what you're referring.
Well, at the
this is the Bigfoot reports. It's literally just this person putting a map up and saying these sightings happened, right?
Jeremiah
Byron we just saw.
Let's put these arrows here, a couple here, a couple
Dude, that's Kohlberger's case that you were talking about on the show with them, right? With all the arrows that
I mean, essentially, because then everyone just saved and this person even retweeted the Blurry Creature stuff. So
probably the same arrows.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's a good example though of how they did the Kohlberger. Just everyone passes the same nonsense around and suddenly becomes fact.
It doesn't have to be true, JJ. It's the court of a public opinion is the country we live in.
Well, it's magic, right?
Well, it's the algorithm. Yeah, I mean the algorithm is the alchemy, right?
Yeah, and they're building essentially what equates to like whatchamacallit. My brain hole's not working right now. What's an egregore?
Okay.
Egregore, yeah.
But only if people use it, though. That's the power. The power is only if we use it. If we just stop, it's done. It's finished. You know what I mean? Get off Facebook, get off the social medias, and it's over. The game's over.
I don't disagree with you. That's why it makes me wonder what they're going to do with these data centers, dude. There's got to be some sort of digital manipulation that you think these things are able to achieve. Like, because we don't like you can hold your phone, dude, and I'm quite confident it can read what you're thinking.
Oh yeah, dude! I had an instance of that. I was actually looking
at a
light
instances
node.
like that. But what
happened
to you?
I was, and I think, I mean, this might sound a little crazy, but I had my earbuds in, so I think some of that was a little bit of manipulation there too, of the implanting of thoughts, because that technology does exist. But if you
for sure,
if you look,
dude.
it was a where they have stoplights and how long the pole's stretching out. I was randomly thinking about that, and then 2
Yeah.
hours later, I get home and I get a video of a guy working on the same, like a similar stoplight. And it was just a dumb thought that occurred in my head.
Searched it before, never texted about it before, right? None of that stuff, right?
No. Yeah, for sure. And if you get off of the social medias for a while, they'll start targeting you with different radicalizing emotions too. I've noticed that as well. If you get off for a couple days or so, the algorithm starts spinning out of control and it doesn't know what to feed you.
Oh.
So sometimes I like to wage war against the algorithm. Like I'll get on ChatGPT and just type random shit on there, and just so so they kind of have like don't know what to expect from me. I like to do that.
I do the same thing at Walmart, and sometimes I give it a 5 or a 1. I don't want them to. I want to honor these AI systems and their self checkouts. I also don't want to, tell them they're doing a great job. So
you're just flipping them off at that little camera.
Sometimes I'm interrupting their data sets. They're like, what is this guy? There was a 1 and a 5 do with this guy.
And that's how we win the war, JJ. That's how we win the war, brother. Right there.
Yeah, they're never gonna be able to figure me out. They're like, wait a second, what happened? Today's a 1. Doesn't make it, because they're crunching all these numbers on what you purchase, how you purchase it, whether it's cash, what kind of card it is. This stuff's all getting fucking sifted out and sorted out and
sold to insurance companies, car companies.
Well, not only that, employed in some capacity. I'm telling you, dude, there's some weird shit going on in these data centers because they're real noisy thoughts about what they're trying to accomplish here, dude. Because just like Wi-Fi, the signals can go into your phone hole, dude. Shit goes out of your brain hole. I'm convinced of too, in an electronic fashion or some sort of frequency fashion. And what I'm saying, it's not a one-way road into things, right? Like I'm convinced that if I can hold this device and it's somehow reading some sort of waves or biometrics out of my brain hole, dude, I'm quite confident they could pump some other shit in there. Dude, you ever seen the film? Speaking of Batman, remember the Batman with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones there in the '90s? Mm-hmm. Was it the Val Kilmer one or George
Batman
Clooney
Forever, baby?
Batman Forever. There you go, sir. That's essentially what it was. They had that little Wi-Fi device in their homes, and it beamed the messages right into their brain holes, dude.
Yep.
And you had the portable device that you could like just put right onto someone's forehead too.
This one right here, that same
There
difference.
we go.
Right?
That's the one. That's the one. That's shit. Yeah.
That's essentially that's essentially what we come down to there, right? With their phones and our little streaming devices in our homes. And
yes,
stuff.
your smartwatch. They want all your health data. There is no HIPAA. That was destroyed after COVID. That's not a thing. That's when I knew this wasn't a free country. I said it's over from there, dude. If this is all you got, this is a joke.
Everyone can ask you about health stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, you could just, whatever. You just take it. It don't matter. There is no that's out of the window now. It's a joke. It's not real.
Hey, 2 weeks to stop the spread, bud.
To flatten the curve, 6 weeks to end the war. It's all bull. It's the same kit and caboodle bullshit we keep getting fed.
New normal.
Well, and you talk about COVID, and I mean that's exactly when the 5G towers went up. When they locked everybody down. And, that's that was interesting. All of a sudden, they had those things with the giant panels on the front. Like, oh yeah.
Which that's weird too, because it's my understanding that 5G doesn't have as much volume or you can't reach as far in that technology as you can with like a 3G or a 4G.
Absolutely, but what you can do is they can change the frequency of the signal.
Higher bandwidth.
They can. Yeah, but they can change it. They can program it so on certain days or certain times it has higher amplitude, and on certain days and times it has lower amplitude, and what the effect is on people that are in those areas, who knows, but I
think you're spot on.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious when I lived in Portland, this is when they were all going up, and I could see on the maps, that how many 5G towers were going up, and it's there wasn't enough space in between them to justify you're not getting a cell phone signal from this far away to this far away. They're putting them in these super dense concentration, so there was obviously something else going on with that signaled other than just like to hook your cell phone up to it. It had to do with like the
for sure. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on, dude.
If you have like
if it's not, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add to that. Smart dust. I mean, they're bouncing off of each other with the smart dust. So you're becoming the new radio, the new communication tower. Your body is your devices that are on you. That's some weird shit. When you start looking at Wells Fargo's patents on ATMs and smart dust technology, yeah, brother, you look a little bit different at the world at that point. It's scary
Bill
stuff,
Gates
man.
nanoparticles? Is that what we're talking here? Jeffrey Epstein's buddy, Bill Gates.
Tell me more. I want to hear some more about that. The smart dust.
Well, we can. Let me pull it up.
P. Thomas, what's up, dude? By the way,
I went over this on Tim's show. Yeah, there's a bunch of patents, and they're constantly producing them too. I
know Bill Gates is big into nanoparticles. I don't know what Epstein. Go ahead, sir.
But I was just saying, Wells Fargo, the reason I found them odd is because they got busted a couple years back for creating fake accounts.
Right.
They didn't have all the accounts that they said they had. It was a lot. And so now
they did, and getting fucking fake mortgages on them and shit.
Yeah. And then now
it wasn't fake accounts. They were taking out mortgage accounts within the bank too.
So why are they now allowed to have these patents on these ATM machines? It's I look at it that way. Why are they now being able to come back into the picture? Let me see. I'm pulling it up. I can get you the map too and how it works.
It's how do we allow these people to do anything, dude? You know what I mean? If they get caught making up their own accounts and getting fake mortgages they're issuing, dude, like that's their own internal pond. You guys can keep all of your certifications and licenses.
See this. Hello?
I cut out.
Oh yeah, we're here.
Yeah,
Am I back?
Yeah. Let me pull up Yandex.
I'll find that. Well, I was just saying that, with Wells Fargo, dude, they're issuing out their own little Ponzi scheme with their own fake accounts and mortgages on those fake accounts. When they get busted, they don't lose any licenses or certifications. They're still a bank.
No. It's a slap on the wrist.
A large bank.
A very big bank. They're tied in with Brown Bros and Harriman too. Wells Fargo is.
I think I was going to say, doesn't the Oracle of Omaha
AKA the Bush
a good portion of them?
Well, yeah, that's
didn't Berkshire Hathaway portion by like 30%
Buffett
or
gang.
some shit? Yeah.
The Franklin gang.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing that you never hear that man's name connected with Franklin. It almost makes you wonder. Nope. I'm not convinced he wasn't part of it. It makes you wonder the amount of power, because his friends were part of it. The head of the newspaper was part of it.
Well, so his wife was hosted an anniversary party for Larry King and his wife at the Buffett's mansion in Omaha.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, absolutely. What's Buffett's wife's name? Like Cheryl or something? Like, yeah, she hosted an anniversary party for Larry King and his wife.
Interesting.
And like,
you always got to be suspect of those characters like Buffett. He's like, oh, I live in this house I bought in 1954 for $12, and I get you to the Dairy Queen every week. Like, what skeletons you got in your closet, buddy?
It's another Paul Bunyan-esque story, JJ. I have that patent there.
Oh, here we go.
So this is.
You're gonna have to zoom in on your end, Landon. I can't zoom in over here, buddy.
More?
There you
go. Okay. Let's scroll down here. It's basically the MEMS, and it's talking about systems and methods to facilitate authenticating user making payment using a micro electromechanical system, a MEMS device, aka smart dust. The MEMS device may have sensors that collect data and transfer it to the base station device. The MEMS devices can collect sensor data, including biometric data, or capture images of the person. The MEMS can also collect sensor data such as audio data, optical data, temperature data, pressure data, and motion data, and compare it to data associated with a user profile that is your digital twin. To determine that the person making the payment is the same person associated with the user profile. Once the person's identity has been confirmed, thus authenticated, the payment request can be confirmed and payment made. So they are going to tell you if you are that person. So I guess what they're planning on happening is people like having different masks. I don't understand that whole part of it, changing their retinas at some point. But here's what it would look like. That is the sensor, which is kind of really you or your I think could be your device, and then there's your ATM 106, and there's the smart dust. So they're very teeny tiny, almost the size of a grain of sand. They've gotten down to now with
nanoparticles.
Yeah. The weird thing about that though is I forgot. It was maybe Rand Corporation was one of the people I think that was starting on it back in the 70s or 80s with the MEMS, the micro LED. But you can actually buy these online. And I was going to buy some, dude. And I was going to like try to Elon Musk this, dude, and start making counter MEMS to their MEMS or something. You know what I mean? I was trying to.
It reminds me of that scene from
guerrilla warfare, man.
So you keep saying MEMS. It reminds me of Meet the Parents. That Joe Freelander guy's like, he asked him at the drugstore, "You got any expensive bottle of wine or champagne?" He's like, "Got a lot of mums. You can buy a lot of mums for $80."
Yeah, you can buy a bunch of mums.
You can buy a bunch of mums.
So
back when Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller weren't so fucking Looney Tunes, going to Ukraine filming war videos or whatever, and then he's like screaming about Donald Trump needs a war's not Hollywood. That's his new thing. Stiller, De Niro's just as demented about Trump.
Selling soda.
I actually pulled up that Magus clip or that Poseidon Temple clip that Levenda's talking about with Epstein Island. But before we do that, let me just play my favorite game here in Operation GCD Fridays, and I appreciate you gents joining me here tonight to get a little GCD, and I appreciate you folks on the interwebs joining us here tonight to get a little GCD. Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
You tell me, who is your daddy, and what does he do?
So that there is Bill Mayer Sr., a newsman, the bald-headed fellow from New Jersey in black and white photo, who looks nothing like Bill Mayer Jr. However, Bill Mayer Jr. looks especially like Hugh Hefner, who he's pretty buddy with.
Oh, you mean Mr. Kid Love Production?
Mr. Kid Love Productions, the star of Pizza Man, a 1991 comedy where he battles Donald Trump in some weird underworld. Very suspect, that Bill Mayer.
Real suspect.
Didn't he have the girl from Stranger Things on recently and got real creepster with her?
I heard something about that. I didn't see it.
I feel like that young gal's getting passed around Hollywood in a very bad way.
Oh,
wasn't it like numerous adults creeping on her, dude? Her co-star was creeping on her.
What was it? Wasn't like Drake? Yeah, Drake.
Yeah,
like,
Drake was creeping on her, dude. And at the time, she's not even like 15 and 16 when all this is going on. You know what I mean? Like they're all creeping on her at a very young age. That's what I'm saying. Like, pretty sure she's the next Drew Barrymore type of situation, if you will.
Yeah.
Who somehow is back now in Hollywood and not doing drugs. And it's like, what reprogramming did they give her? She acts totally different than she used to. Whole different personality.
Clone.
Yeah. Weird. Well, if you remember a couple years ago when Hollywood was trying to come up with some new ideas they're very terrible at, she played herself, playing herself. Am I making this up? Is this a real film? I might have made this up. Holy shit. Yo, look. Maybe I made this up. Maybe I made this up. I'm pretty sure she played herself, playing herself. You got to do is fucking weird, dude. I'm pretty sure it didn't work out too well either. Let me look it up here. She's from old Hollywood. So her grandfather there was it John Barrymore. He was part of the old like Black Dahlia Club there in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with John Huston, right? That whole crew. John. There's another John I miss. John Carradine, the Carradine's brother's dad, right? And then we have new generations of Carradine in Hollywood now too. Bruce Carradine, David Carradine, the other Carradine. I think they have different moms, but they're all the same dad.
These are David Carradine's kids, or
yeah. Well, you got John Carradine. He was friends with John Huston and John Barrymore, right?
Okay.
They're running around that whole Black Dahlia scene, right? Yeah. Along with the abortion doctor was their friend, Mr. Hodel there.
Hodel, yeah.
And then you got the next generation, and you got David Carradine, Bruce Carradine, and then the Revenge of the Nerds Carradine. Or no, wait, David Carradine. Yeah, David Carradine.
The guy, the autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, but all of their kids are actors. You got one of them back in that film Parenthood in the 90s, David Carradine, the eldest Carradine's daughter's in that.
Oh,
I mean, the Carradines are just as deep in Hollywood as the Barrymores, as the Douglases, who were really, I think, Ukrainian Jews who changed their name to a Scottish name. Nonetheless, my point. The Gettys are, yeah. I mean, that's they bought into Hollywood.
That's top of the food.
They're the people financing Hollywood, right? Because they're the one they got their grandson into Hollywood, right? That Balthazar Getty was in Young Guns.
Oh, they're financing Kenneth Anger before that, you know, like Lucifer Rising. That J.P. Getty Jr. paid for that.
So what do you guys think about the World Cup coming this summer to LA? Hollyweird. Kind of. I mean, what can we expect? Are we talking?
Donald Trump
we're already getting
fantastic tournament ever.
Well,
tell me he's wrong. Is that what you're saying? He's wrong.
The West Coast is on high alert right now for false flags. So that's the scary part.
Is that this year? We got a lot of stuff going on this year, man. The 250th, everything, huh?
Yeah. What you guys said, 3 Friday the 13th this year. That's odd.
Yeah, there are 3 this year. That's the last time it happened since 2015. So that's cool.
So February, March. What's the third one? Do you know?
We had the blood moon here this past month too. That was
there we go. I got the article here. I'll send you the article if you want to look at it, but let's take a look here. There we go.
Oh shit, TJ Miller was in this one, dude, before he went full-blown Looney Tunes, called in a bomb threat to a train and tried to force all of his co-stars to donate to Hillary Clinton and got thrown off a show.
What?
Show. But he was in that weird movie with Drew Barrymore playing Drew Barrymore.
Who is TJ Miller?
Did you recognize your face? What'd you think about
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, what'd you think about the whole parade situation we had not a couple back last summer? Do you think that was a strategic move to move military equipment? I mean, I think so. That's what I thought at the time, and now it kind of makes sense. I mean, were they? What was the plan there? Were they arming DC, or what was the deal? Because that's not an abnormal event.
It's certainly possible.
I didn't think it was the rah-rah moment. I mean, we know these situations are multifaceted, different purposes. You know what I mean? I don't think it was just all just for patriotic, rah-rah morale, I guess.
I mean, it's certainly they knew the war was coming. Equipment, you got to do it under the auspices of something else, right? So, I mean, it makes, in that regard, it kind of makes sense.
Smoke and mirrors.
We have a Friday.
Mirrors, dude. We got some mirrors to smoke.
Let's
that's a new strain, right?
Yeah, right. Cloudy mirrors, dude. It's fantastic.
It's that Cash Patel pack.
50-50 hybrid. 50-50 hybrid.
So we got a Friday the 13th, February, March,
and Cobophobes. What the?
We got one in November as well.
In November, okay.
Who made up this name, though, dude? What kind of name is that? That's a Muppet name, guys. You guys gotta be kidding me.
Frigga, Tricka, Frigga, what the fuck?
Wow.
It reminds me of that one gal who was that one Muppet gal who was going to be the disinformation czar for the Homeland Security for the Biden administration.
Nina Jankowicz.
Nina, thank you, sir. I couldn't think of her
Yeah,
actual name,
yeah.
but she had a band. She had a poop-related cover band based on Harry Potter stuff. But her first introduction to business as a disinformation czar was doing a Mary Poppins fucking parody about fucking disinformation. It was peak Muppet performance. I love it.
God, I saw that. It was so bad. Shout out to
dude.
Claudine North.
Oh, is that what you're drinking on?
Oh yeah, they're right down the road here in the Applegate Valley. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, Claudine North.
Tell him get him a code, man. Get Habsburger code.
That's what I'm trying. You know, if anybody sees it, you know, hey, I'm
always
flashed
promoting,
it,
baby.
There you go. Are you all familiar with Peter Levenda? You all familiar with some of his work or some of his background?
The Levenda name sounds familiar.
Yeah, like shoot though. You know, I mean, I know you've done a lot of research on him.
I'll give you a few high points. He met John Podesta around 1978. Right around the same time, he infiltrated a secret Nazi camp, and just a college student randomly wandering into a secret Nazi enclave that's been notorious for torture, extraordinary renditions, as the CIA would call it, those fucking Muppets. He just sneaks in there, creates an international incident. The State Department literally has to negotiate his release. There's some dark shit that went on there in that Nazi camp. He just happens to infiltrate it, and then he meets John Podesta around the same time, and then he went to high school with David Berkowitz. They had the same social circle. He apparently, by all appearances of the photograph that was published with the original picture of the book, the Necronomicon, he is Simon of the Necronomicon. He's also registered that book in the state of Texas underneath the name Simon and signed by Peter Levenda. So he's definitely the Necronomicon author. He likes to play this game of, am I the Necronomicon guy? But which
in Robert Anton Wilson's Illuminatus trilogy, the Necronomicon was translated by John Dee. That's like the lore of that book.
Yeah, and they play into a lot of that lore with his publication of that, the Simon publication. Likes to play a lot lore around that and Lovecraft's Necronomicon, right? Which again, Levenda's huge into Lovecraft. He did a 2009. He's on Discovery Channel doing an OTO ritual. I suspect, based upon that activity and his writings, that he's a member of the Typhonian Order of the OTO, which they're big into Lovecraft. They're big into the aliens. They're big into doing rituals on mounds to just try to open or close portals. I don't believe when they say they're closing the portal. I suspect they're opening the portal myself, but
they're OTO offshoot, right? The Typhonians.
Yeah, they're not an official OTO, but yeah, it's the Typhonian offshoot or Typhonian Order of the OTO.
Speaking of mounds, JJ, we need you to come on and do a mounds episode with us.
Happy to do so anytime, sir.
Seriously.
Peter Levenda covers a lot of the mounds in his Sinister Forces. Have you read at least the first volume there where he covers a lot of the mound stuff?
I haven't read it, but I know about it. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoiler alert the series for you, but I highly recommend number 1 if you want to check out some of his takes on some of the mounds.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you think that they're like legit takes? I mean, you think that it's like good, real insight, or it's science?
I think I think in any kind of disinformation campaign, you get a good amount of truth out of it. That's why I pay attention whenever the hell Bill Hicks is, convulsing at the mouth about, but is man pleaser about. But Alex Jones. But no, I mean, Levenda's a very interesting guy. He's just so intertwined with so much occultism stuff. He actually snuck into the RFK funeral as a priest. He gets adopted into the wandering bishops around the JFK assassination, right? Because they were actually headquartered out of New York City, and they're like a couple blocks from where he grew up. So his whole life story is very fascinating. Some of it, I think, is obviously not his machinations; it's just happenstance. But at the same time, like, you have to question when he's writing these books or telling these stories, like, what's his end game, right? He is a magician.
So, by the way, when you mentioned that he went to high school with Berkowitz, did they know each other? Like, is that they for sure know?
He admits to having the same social circle as David Berkowitz. He admits to working at the Magical Bookshop that Berkowitz in the process would frequent, right? That magical bookshop is I assert that's what Dan Aykroyd's basing his magical bookshop off of in the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, didn't you say on one of your shows that he's like friends with the owner, Dan Aykroyd is, or something?
Yeah,
like that?
he was. Yeah, he was. By his own admission. His own admission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aykroyd's family goes deep in the occult. His grandmother was friends with. She was a big spiritualist movement person. She was real good friends with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah.
And they're all Canadian, right?
British. Oh yeah, Aykroyd's are Canadians. You're right, but I think his grandmother was British. The one I'm referring to, the spiritualist.
That stands to reason if she was connected with the.
Yeah, I mean we're talking 1880s, 1890s. You know, she's running around with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and that whole movement of the spiritualist movement at the time, right? They kind of went into the early 1900s as well, but.
Was there some connection with Levenda and Michael Aquino? Am I making that
Yeah,
up?
they go to the same Jerky Shatter Off conference in Vegas every year, dude. The retired intelligence officers little group they have.
Right. Where they're all like taking the pictures with with Michael Aquino, like he's the coolest guy.
Yeah, they all pose together. Well,
ridiculous.
and then Aquino's often seen a lot of photos of that same conference over the years with Colonel John Alexander, the non-lethal weapons guy. He's also part of the aviary, the folks that are associated with Levenda and Tom DeLonge and the Stars Academy. It's the same effort. These people, these Muppets all run around together. They all have the same little intelligence conference they go to. And, Levenda will be like, oh, I've met Aquino there. I don't, he made these weird statements to me, yada, yada, yada. But again, he's a magician. He's painting a picture for you to put some perception in your brain hole about the situation that may or may not be factual. You know what I mean? That is, I think, what he's always operating as.
Since you mentioned Tom DeLonge, by the way, with the bass player for Blink 182, he grew up in Ridgecrest, China Lake.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. So I mean, like his father, that's not.
His father's military industrial complex of some regard, wasn't he?
I think
all of their parents were. I mean, I know DeLonge.
Well, Hoppus is Canadian, isn't he?
What?
Officially, I think he is.
Mark Hoppus, I think he's Canadian. He got big in the Canadian production.
No, dude, he's Hoppus. He's the one who grew up in Ridgecrest.
You said bass player. I was thinking DeLonge. Yeah, DeLonge's father was definitely involved in all sorts of stuff. I mean, all these mothers. Look at Steve-O, dude. Steve-O's father was a. Go ahead, sir. What was it?
I think DeLonge's father was involved in Navy because they're from like Mission Bay and San Diego, like where all the big naval installation is. But
I think he went to get work for one of those.
Hoppus is from China, Ridgecrest.
I was thinking he was Canadian for some reason.
I'm so too. I could have sworn he was Canadian too.
I know he's American. I know he. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Also, speaking of Tom DeLonge, I know. I looked up. I noticed that they re-released.
No, he's definitely from Ridgecrest. Sorry.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. And he moved to San Diego too, huh?
Yep. Which is a real spooky place. But sorry, Jordan. Go ahead, man.
So they re-released Sinister Forces, like. As an omnibus, like all 3 volumes, and Tom DeLonge wrote the forward in it. So what is Tom DeLonge's work with like Podesta and Levenda and all them? Like, what are they all doing exactly?
Summoning demons.
What do they say they're doing?
Hillary Clinton's a GD demon.
If you read it between the lines, it's literally what they're saying in their work. If you ask me, they're summoning demons, and again, that's what Jack Parsons, buddy Molina's son says. I think it's Roger Molina,
the Moonchild.
He's depending on the day of the week, he's a computer scientist. Depending on the day of the week, he says he's talking to aliens or demons, but they're the same entities. All of these folks seem to these occultists of this variety seem to interchange those two concepts.
Yeah, and DeLonge has like all the like great seal, like compass, like the Freemason shit, like on all of his guitars, on his guitar straps. It's insane. It's like it's so overt. Like,
and he's been trying to convince folks of aliens for years. Their second album, Aliens Do Exist. I mean, that's like the 3rd track. Take off
What's
your
the
face-
name? What's
or
the name
you
of
take
his
off your
other
fancy jacket.
weird band? The
Angels and
Aliens
Airwaves.
and
Yep.
Airwaves.
Angels and Airwaves, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and he started a shoe company, Macbeth, and the logo is like seems like some sort of occultic lion or something like that. So yeah, he's totally into that symbolism game.
Well, here's
really
that clip of
interesting about
Levenda here.
Macbeth. Yeah, I didn't.
Here's that clip of Levenda on that Danny Jones podcast. He's like the Gen Z Joe Rogan, I think, or whatever. I'm sorry, millennial Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Temple of Poseidon on his island.
Okay, I have something that no one's mentioned yet on this, and it occurred to me just recently because one of my favorite films that I saw when I was 18 years old was The Magus.
The Magus.
The Magus stars Anthony Quinn, Michael Caine, and Candice Bergen. I think was probably her first role.
Mm-hmm.
1968. It's based on the novel by John Fowles. It was a very big novel at the time, a bestseller. Okay. Anthony Quinn plays this mysterious person living on an island in Greece. Michael Caine is a British school teacher. He's just dumped his girlfriend, who's an air hostess or something. And now he's trying to find himself or whatever. He's a sort of an arrogant, closed-off, cold person. And he's a school teacher on this island in Greece. But the mysterious person, played by Anthony Quinn, invites him to his house. And in his house, there's a temple to Poseidon. And that temple to Poseidon, you see it briefly from a distance. Mostly you're inside, right? It's in the interior, or you see the Poseidon statue. But there is a shot from a distance. And my God, if that temple of Poseidon is not a replica of the one on Epstein's Island.
Really?
And then what freaked me out a little bit more.
What's the name of this movie?
The Magus, M-A-G-U-S.
The M-A-G-U-S.
The Magus, that's it. There's Anthony Quinn. Yeah.
Okay, find the temple, Poseidon temple.
Pretty creepy, isn't it?
On so many levels. But and Candice Bergen, Terry Melcher's girlfriend.
Yeah. Half the cast are Bob
Cielo
Cocaine
Drive.
Evans Processians, right?
She
Michael
lived at
Caine.
the house. Yeah.
But they lived at the house. They were at the Polanski wedding.
Candice Bergen. Yes. But that and then that it's called Magus, and that's like, the male, version of MAGA is the female version of
Sure.
Magus.
You'll find Anton LaVey refers to himself as the Magus at times. There's a number of these Muppets do.
Check the chat, Landon. I just sent a photo for everyone to check it out. They can see what he's referring to.
Oh, that is a good comparison. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Jeez. Yeah.
What's the statue out front?
Well, they had an owl, right?
From the
Couple
movie?
owls,
No.
right?
In the movie?
On the Magus.
The one that looks like a person?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Burning Man, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
that's what I thought.
Man.
Looks like a
JJ,
miniature bird.
JJ, that's that Wicker.
Man.
That's the Wicker
Yeah,
Man.
Wicker
It's
Man.
the Wicker
Yeah.
Man, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, right?
We're going deep, bruh.
That's some old druidic
damn.
stuff. It seems.
We're
Well, that's what this stuff does
we're
go deep.
fighting
When
the
we see these
pagans again,
representations, we see the representations in fiction. I think it's like it goes to my thoughts of where do ideas come from, right? So back to that
It does look like the
1962
Wicker
66
Man.
show, right? It opens up with a sign saying "Kill Kenny," right? And then Waco and Dallas. It shows Love Field, and then they mention the name Earl Cabell, who was the mayor of Dallas, who would then change the parade route that morning on 11/22/63. And then one of the stars of the show, George Maharis, then calls from a payphone to Jack Ruby's Carousel Club. I can't make this shit up. And this is a year before, right?
That's crazy, man.
And then
That's crazy.
And then there was a show that was on the same television program, Route 66, on November 29th, 1963, was supposed to air. It never aired. It was called "I'm Here to Kill a King."
Come on.
Yep. And it opens up with
on November 29th, like 7 days after. That's crazy.
It opens up with this assassin killing I believe it's the president of Canada in the Buffalo airport, or something like that. Maybe it wasn't Canada, but some other nation's president in like the Buffalo airport. But the two stars of the show are at the airport when it happens. You know what I mean? That's how it interacts with the show. But I'm here to kill the king. So they've already filmed it. It's it's already been produced. It's ready to air, and they pull at the last minute. I'm always intrigued by these things. Netflix pulled the Dracula. I'm a part-time vampire hunter, not the vice president here, folks, but I am a part-time vampire hunter. Netflix pulled a documentary about a vampire cult that murked a dude in the mid-90s at an industrial rock club. Strangely enough, not that strange if you know about that.
Was this the vampire cult in Kentucky?
That's a different vampire cult, sir.
Okay. I heard you do a show a couple years ago with Recluse on that. And that was awesome, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I inadvertently encountered a number of vampires in my life, but I inadvertently encountered the Kentucky Vampire Clan back in the 90s down there in Murray, Kentucky. So I happened to was my junior year, but my senior year technically, because I left high school there, but my senior year spring break, not to get into the finite particulars, instead of going to the beach, I went to Murray, Kentucky to go smoke pot with my dude whose family's from Murray, Kentucky, right? Some actual, good old Kentucky bluegrass, if you will. And his family had been growing pot down there for years, so it's not like we didn't have access. You know what I mean? Like we had a plan. We were just gonna, hey guys, we're in Kentucky, show us the pot. You know what I mean? But his family's from down there in Murray, just outside of it. And his cousin who lived next door, who was our age, I was 17, I guess he was 18, and his cousin was 18. This is just right after the murders of the Kentucky Vampire Clan. His cousin this is a creepy tale because it's gotten creepier since I told it on Recluse. Because I found out I'm related to the victim. So my dude's cousin is the foster family for Rod Farrell, who's the head vampire. He claims to be a 500-year-old vampire, right? He was born into it generationally speaking, is how I was told. His mother was a prostitute and drug addict because her father got her into all the occult shit. So it was multi-generational, which makes sense of how Rod Farrell got into it. But he was living in foster care at my dude's cousin's house, next door to his grandmother's house, which was our spring break HQ, right? Was the upstairs attic of his grandma's house. So we're next door, and dude's just dropping some knowledge on me. I call him Roundhouse Luke. He was a youth pastor at the time. His father was a Christian pastor, or whatever, or Baptist pastor there. I don't know if it's the same difference, but he was a youth minister trying to save the vampires, right? Rod Farrell was his foster brother. When Rod Farrell left to go commit the murders, he left dude's house. You know what I mean? Like that, he had been living there for like the 13 or so months previous to that. So I'm sitting in a chair playing some college basketball, watching some college basketball in the middle of March Madness. And dude's roundhouse kicking a heavy bag behind me. And I'm like, he's like, hey, you're sitting in the chair of a, vampire killer. I'm like, all right, buddy, time out. What happened? He's just kicking the heavy bag. So I'm like, you're going to have to take a time out there, Chuck Norris, and tell me the story. But they end up driving to Florida and murking and confirmed by their own admission, ritual human sacrifice of the new recruits' parents. Well, those new recruits' parents, Heather Wendorf, her mother, she's my cousin like 4 times over. My Appalachian family tree is an Appalachian family pole, and she's my closest relation, my second cousin, actually.
No way.
From Logan County, West Virginia, yeah.
Oh,
one of the murder victims in that case, Heather Wendorf's mother. Murdered in Orlando, Florida, just north of there. And then they traveled to New Orleans. That's another epicenter of activity for vampire cults. But it seems the vampire cult phenomenon may go back to Satanism and Michael Aquino.
Well, and Orlando, Aquino is a Disney freak.
Oh, dude. And there's a lot of weird shit about going on down there, I think, over the years. Because look at Paul
Hellowell. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. He brokered the real estate to Disney.
Right.
Yeah.
With the CIA, dude.
Yeah,
they specifically passed legislation and shit to make it like international waters down there, man.
Yeah.
And he sets up Castle Bank and Trust, which is then the next generation of that is Jeffrey Epstein. You get Castle Bank and Trust, you get BCC, or then you get Nugan Bank. BCCI is mentioned in the Nugan Bank documents. They're like, hey, we got to set up a new operation. in the Bahamas. They don't say BCCI, but they're talking about doing that in the fucking documents, in the declassified records.
And they were washing the money for Mary Carter Paint Company, Resorts International, that Trump bought.
Hey, whoa, Habsburg.
And that's how you get Trump and Roy Cohn involved in the mix, right?
Yeah, sorry.
That's not probable.
But you know who else? You know who else was who else was involved with Castle Bank was Billy Mellon Hitchcock. Do you know who that was?
Oh yeah,
yes. Castle Bank is Pritzker's. Yes. They were the biggest depositors. The Pritzker's family were the biggest depositors in Castle Bank.
Well, that Castle Bank and Trust spread pretty far wide. Creedence Clearwater Revival.
They stole all of their money. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But Billy Mellon Hitchcock was laundering money through Castle Bank, and he's the one who set Timothy Leary up at his Millbrook estate after Timothy Leary got kicked out of Harvard, and they were running the Internal Freedom Foundation out of his estate at Millbrook, and he's the one who was funding the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, who was making the Orange Sunshine acid, and he was washing that money through Castle Bank. Billy Mellon,
and they're in league with the process. That all intersects with the process.
Yes, exactly.
There's a deeper understanding of these occult groups that hides just beneath the surface level. They all know each other.
Exactly, and it was Ronald Stark, who was like the chief of their acid production, who's at least according to Maury Terry, it was his black Mercedes, Ronald Stark's black Mercedes, that Manson was driving the day after the La Bianca murders.
That's right. You know your Manson lore, sir. I salute you. Speaking of some, back to Disney, some Manson, where that intersects, the La Biancas bought a home from Walt Disney. They had just sold the Walt Disney home just prior to moving into their new home to get murked at. And then the same night they get murked, Walt Disney, Disneyland opens the Haunted Mansion attraction. The same night the Lucas get murked not in the former Disney home. They had sold Walt's home to move into the new home. They got murked.
Wait, the Haunted Mansion opened on August the 10th, 1969.
August 9th, 1969, sir. August 9th. The Cielo Drive was 8th and 9th, and then the La Biancas was 9th and 10th.
Yeah. No way. Because the 10th of August is a crazy day too. And I tagged you about this, but it was the first Scientology clear was declared on August the 10th. L. Ron Hubbard married Jack Parsons' ex-wife on August the 10th. At Jeffrey Epstein's, suicide was August the 10th, and Robert de Grimston's birthday, August.
There you go. Robert de Grimston's birthday is August 10th, and that's an overlooked fact, sir. So there was a blog post that was posted on a Zodiac Killer forum the day after Edward Wayne Edwards had to give up his DNA by search warrant to Wisconsin authorities, but would ultimately bring him to justice. The first act to bring him to justice. And in that anonymous blog post, who claimed to be the Zodiac Killer, and amongst many other things, says he likes to kill on Robert de Grimston's birthday and names Robert de Grimston in the post. August 10th.
No, wait.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Hold on. Zodiac Killer forum back in June 10th of 2009, the day after. So the Wisconsin. So if you don't know the story of Edward Wayne Edwards, I'm actually just outside of a town he used to murder in here in Great Falls, Montana. But his daughter saw a local news outlet in Wisconsin going over a cold case murder from 1980. This is 2009. This is like April of 2009, and her name's April actually. And she calls the news program. She's like, my father used to work at that wedding reception center in this rural area of Wisconsin. And she's like, we left overnight, and all of a sudden, and he actually took us to this other area of town. And the other area of town is where you guys are saying that bodies were found, and those kids disappeared from the wedding reception. And they go back, and Edwards was the number one suspect by the police, but no one could explain why he was never looked into, because he's a CIA operative. That's why. But and that's confirmed through numerous arrests. He had the credentials Dr. James Garfield Langley. Those fucking Muppets at Langley are not very creative. James Garfield, and then their headquarters, like, the president, James Garfield. But she sees that they go get his DNA with a search warrant. The Wisconsin authorities do. He's living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. And the day after he gives up his DNA, this random blog post on the Zodiac Killer forum, and his kids even said like he made them watch everything Zodiac growing up, and he's like he was demanding they got this detail wrong and this detail wrong, and the guy in the Zodiac mask at Lake Berryessa on September 27th, 1969. He gave the details of Edward Wynne-Everett's life, which is a very unique data set. It's not like, you don't really know those details. That there's no interwebs. You don't really know Deer Lodge prison exists unless you're in Montana kind of deal, right? Back in 1969. So, without all, without those sequence of events and whatnot, we wouldn't even know that Edward Wynne-Edwards, had even been involved in anything, right? But you see that blog post and you're just like, man, that's very suspect, because it's the day after he gets, and he's just like confessing that's what he's doing, but he hits August 10th and he specifically says it's Robert de Grimston's. Whoever posted this. Again, they seem to have
in 2009. You said
June 10th. He gets served a warrant on June 9th, I believe it is 2009. I think his birthday is June 11th, and I think the blog post is June 9th. But specifically named Robert de Grimston. I was like, oh, this is crazy.
That's insane.
Because the person says that like they killed, I think they claim Jean Bonnet, which again, there's a character in this blog post does, right? They claim to be the Zodiac Killer, Atlanta Child Killers. Oh, Edwards is a suspect in all of these. That's shocking. And it's the day after the blog post is an anonymous post. The day after he has to finally give up his DNA, the stuff that brings him to justice for a 1980 Lovers Lane murder in Wisconsin. Because much like the Zodiac wrote in his letters, he got his rocks off killing people, right? That was in the Zodiac letters, right? With amongst all the other satanic nonsense in those letters, the obvious that when people try to say there's no Satanism involved in those crimes, I'm like, no, you clearly didn't read the letters, or you're being dishonest about it.
There's no tunnels, JJ. There's no tunnels.
There's no tunnels. What, you believe in tunnels?
What are you, a wizard?
Yeah, what are you, a retard, dude? You haven't read the Lanning report, dude? That the FBI's Muppet said there's no Satanism. But yeah, it's the same kind of, it's the same, man. It's the same idea though, right? I mean, it is the same idea, but yeah, it's too much for me. But this idea of a hand of death cult, I mean, that blog post is painting the picture of what a hand of death cult looks like. And they even cite again, liking to kill on Robert de Grimston's birthday.
That is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that like, and that just happens to be the same day. The first clear, OT8 clear,
Yep.
like, and the Elron marries, Parsons, like August 10th, there is something really crazy going on, like.
I don't disagree. It's like July 16th, I think, when we're talking about all this defense industry stuff with DeLong or Hopper. It's really just the whole weird scenes kind of idea, right? Well,
what is July 16th?
July 16th. That was when the atom bomb was invented there in New Mexico, in Nazi land, New Mexico, right? And that's when Oppenheimer's reading the Bhagavad Gita, right? Verse.
And
right,
and also and that's on Forrest Gump, like Jenny Gump. That's her birthday, July 16th, 1945. Like,
is it really? No shit. All right, that's my birthday and Corey Feldman's birthday. So I'll let Corey Feldman know that we should have Jenny Gump.
Jenny Gump and her death day on the tombstone is Skull and Bones Day, 3/22.
Oh, they were going to say 9/11. Okay, 3/22.
Yeah,
okay,
3/22,
that's still creepy enough.
Pretty creepy.
Hey, that's cool.
So, Apollo 11 launch was on July 16th, 1969.
Apollo 11? Oh, dude.
Yeah. The mission to the moon, dude, on the giant dick statues with the Nazi rocket fuel invented by magic from Jack Parsons and Ghislaine Maxwell's brother-in-law's dad.
Was it on the 16th? Oh,
July 16th, yeah.
What about the teacher that died? What was that, 13? Apollo 13?
I think you're referring to, that's a Tom Hanks film.
Challenger?
Starring Kevin Bacon. I think you're talking about the Challenger.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that was the psychological operations for
allegedly died.
yeah. It's weird how there's all those people that look exactly like the crew. Have you seen all those photos?
Oh,
of
dude.
the Challenger crew.
Some of them have the same fucking name.
Same
dude.
name. Same name.
Same names and
James.
same
Sherry
birthdays.
McAuliffe. His name's Sherry McAuliffe.
Like, come on.
Judith
Like,
Resnick.
what
His
is
name's
that?
Judith fucking Resnick. You know, it's quite ridiculous.
Did you see the girl from Sandy Hook and then the girl from Uvalde? Go check that out.
The teacher, yeah, that allegedly
Go
committed
check.
substance
Go
abuse
check
teacher.
that out, dog.
Well, she's the. You're talking about. I know you're talking about
The Latino. It was
the
a
first
Latino
grade
lady,
teacher.
I think.
Yeah, DeSoto, I think was her alleged name at Sandy Hook. Yeah, it's the same picture. They use the same
person?
picture for both.
It's the same
yeah.
person.
Well, if the person even exists, I don't know.
Right. Maybe it's a mask. Maybe it's a.
Well, a lot of the
they,
people they
them.
used,
We don't know.
a lot of the children at Sandy Hook were actually, they used older photos. Like the kids depicted were actually, they were old photos used and sold as new photos, but they were actually older adults at that time, right? And a lot of them were witnesses. A lot of the kids' pictures you've seen shown were actually, we see them in the news media footage of the day as witnesses, but they're adults.
It's weird, dude. And the guy buys.
That's
his
how I
house,
joined the
DJ, on
conspiracy
Christmas.
culture, sir. Before I launched my podcast in May of 2016, from the couple years prior to that, I was involved in some Sandy Hook research groups. So it's a creepy event, and certainly what helped radicalize me to this point. That Dave McGowan.
That guy closed on a house on Christmas Day. I don't know any.
Dude, not only one, dude. There was over 24 homes for $0 on Christmas Day, and I got into a lot more of those land records, and part of that research, it got real shifty, dude. That whole neighborhood that Lanza allegedly lived in was a fucking Potemkin village. His next door neighbor was the chairman of the fucking was a board member on the New York Federal Reserve Board. He was the head of the Newtown Savings Bank. And if you saw all the actual SWAT traffic and everything that went on that day, it actually all went down at his house. There's aerial photographs of folks kicking down his door, not the quote unquote Lanza house's door. So at some degree, I think some of that was there may have been a lot going on regarding some of those matters, and there was other things rolled out on top of it.
Good luck finding that video, dude.
Oh yeah, his name's John Trinicosta. I can tell you, dude. I'm from Fairfield County, Connecticut. I used to go to church, Mormon church at Sandy Hook Elementary School back circa 1980 through 83. So,
damn.
Do
you guys think they're wiping?
That hit me hard, man. That whole situation, man.
Do you think they're wiping it, JJ? I mean, I know you think, I know you know they are, but
it's been wiped, dude. Like that shit when I got a lot of shit that ain't been on the web since 2016.
Well, even
it didn't survive the 2016 purge, dude.
They wiped it from January 6th, bro. I mean, just from my time being in the game, like when I seen some videos of a guy in a ski mask telling people to jump in and breaking glass, I can't find the video. The FBI agent, I can't find that video anymore. And the guys are calling him out. They're calling him a fraud. They're like, "You're a fraud." He's like, "This guy's a fake." It was. I cannot find the video, but it was real.
That's interesting. Again, there's a lot of stuff that's been memory hold, man, and. A lot of stuff around that Sandy Hook that Alex Jones distracted from. There was an actual tenured professor of media studies at Florida Atlantic University named James Tracy who got fired, and he lost his
from FIU
speech in FAU at Florida Atlantic.
That's where Levenda's from too. I just looked that up.
Is it really? No shit. I didn't know that. Well, this guy actually he didn't go to college, or he was just a professor there, but. This is the guy that wrote a blog post on his memory hole blog, and then Anderson Cooper came down on his front yard and ended up getting him fired, and then he fought through the U.S. Supreme Court and lost. He was a tenured professor. They fired him for no reason, an arbitrary firing of a tenured professor. It was a bad day for free speech in this country. It had nothing to do with Alex Jones and all that nonsense, but that's what helped distract people from that case.
Anderson Cooper just stepped down recently, conveniently enough. Yeah. Odd timing, I would suspect.
Oh, you mean the guy that was going to the Dalton School when Jeffrey Epstein taught there? Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, say when Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton's buddy Stephanopoulos, if I've ever heard a Muppet name, that's one. George Stephanopoulos. When he quits, you know something's up because he's friends with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein.
That's right.
I don't even know how these companies are still in business, dude. I don't know how CNN's still in business. I don't know how Fox is still in business.
I don't know how any business is still in business. I've been looking at numbers of years ago. I was looking at mattress stores, and I've kind of applied that to hotel chains as well. Like, how do these things stay in business? I've been crunching numbers too.
The mattress stores, they're slinging coke, bro. Those are owned by the cartel.
Have to be, dude. There's over 9,000 mattress stores in America, independent mattress stores. I'm not talking about Macy's, Kohl's, Walmart, Target. I'm talking about 9,000. Dude, there's only 2,500 Walmarts, and there's a Walmart literally everywhere.
Everywhere within it.
Wait, there's only 2,500 Walmarts?
I believe that's the last count.
What?
Yeah,
they had
In
to
the
close down
States,
the old
or-
FEMA camps and install new.
I think corporate wide there's only that many. Okay, there's 4,800 corporate wide.
And that still doesn't seem like that much.
Or 4,800 in the US. 4,800 in the US.
5,200.
5,200 wide.
Still, like, I mean, you know, like there's only 5,000.
9,000 independent standalone mattress stores of varying brands. What purpose?
There was something I was reading on that. That wasn't BS, bro. There was something I was reading on some cartel bosses owning like some stake in a mattress warehouse. I was doing some.
I think it's 2,500 Subway restaurants because it's that corporation that doubles it's a Kid Italy corporation that doubles as a sandwich operation.
And that's named after the tunnels.
Oh, the tunnels.
Jared from Subway.
His name is Jared.
That was such a crazy and weird moment in American marketing and fast food and whatnot. And just because I read all the court cases, and he's going around to all these franchise locations, and there's complaints everywhere. There's hundreds of complaints about him diddling kids at franchise locations. Some franchise owners said, "Don't ever send him back here again."
Right. It wasn't. It happened a lot, and they just weren't talking about it.
It was an open studio. Everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about it.
It's like a Jimmy Savile, man.
Even Jared Fogle. It's a lot like Jimmy Savile. It's very reminiscent of that. And Jared Fogle even decided everyone knew about it. While in prison, he sued one of his victims' parents and said it was their fault that he raped their 13-year-old daughter. I don't know how that works out, but must be that Subway math.
Well, why don't you tell me what I said, JJ?
All right, well, we'll bring this thing in for a close. I appreciate you, gents. I got a quick clip to play here real fast, though.
That wasn't her toe, dude.
Whose toe was it, Walter?
The fuck should I know? I do know that nothing about it indicates
Yeah,
it
the
was
nail polish, Walter.
fine, dude. As if it's impossible to get some nail polish applied to someone else's toe.
Someone else? Where the fuck are they going
You
to get?
want a toe? I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know
Walter,
about it, believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. It's fucking amateurs.
Walter.
Haunted Mansion, August 9th, 1969, the same night the former occupants of old Walt Disney's there on Walking Way were murked by allegedly the Manson family. Now, I'll close that on this note before I pass it around for some closing notes and commentary from you gents. But LaBianca there, Leno LaBianca, is often attributed as being involved with a mob, and that's what may have got him murked. Leno LaBianca was an E6 technical sergeant, master sergeant, at located at a military police headquarters unit 8 miles away from Operation Overcast. So he was the ranking sergeant for military police unit at headquarters, which has no duties being there. So very likely he was actually 8 miles down the road at a top secret camp called Camp Overcast, housing all these the first round draft of the Nazis, Walter Dornberger, all your standard, what's his name, Von Braun, all your standard Nazi names from Project Paperclip. Project Paperclip originated as Operation Overcast. Bill Colby and gangland go fuck themselves, RR. You bunch them up, it's a Langley. But yeah, so
and they're
like
Scientologists too, right? The LaBianca
it seems like he was associated with a lot of these Nazi and occult practices, right?
Unreal.
So I think it's a lot of these things we look at. We may not. What I'm getting at is I don't think we can dissect a lot of details, but unless you know all the known knowns of something, you may never know these things. Is that I'd never seen that about LaBianca. I was just starting to. I have the whole Colby's queers theory, so I started looking up everyone's military careers. I'm like, what the? Because he was an Army Air Corps military police. Well, that's what I served 21 years in the Air Force military police. That's what In July of 47, the Army Air Corps became the Air Force, the Army Air Corps military police. That's what I served in, and I know better. They're not going to. There's no operational purpose on paper for what he's allegedly doing at the time. He just happens to be him and his military police unit activated out of California. Happened to be right next door to a very top secret camp that somebody was doing police for. Somebody was a security and police at that camp. It seems like it was La Bianca's unit.
But this haunted mansion thing, like you do, you just blew my mind like real crazy. That's just holy cow. Well,
we got to think how much Disney loved them Nazis, right? Werner von Braun and a couple of the other guys next there.
No, they're best bros, and like Tomorrowland, like that was all von Braun. I mean. It's crazy, man.
Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, victims of the Manson family, lived at 4053 Walking Way in Los Feliz before moving. They moved, I think it was 2 weeks prior. 2 weeks prior. Built in 1932 by Walt and Lillian Disney, who lived there until 1950. And then the LaBiancas bought it. And they lived there for like 12 years. I think there might have been an interim between Disney and the LaBiancas, maybe. Because the LaBiancas lived there for like 12 years. They lived there for a good clip of time. I mean, he was a wealthy. He was a businessman. He owned grocery stores, and I mean, he had money, like legitimate on the books money. I'm sure he had other money. I'm just saying, like he had on the book. You gotta have your mattress store, right? Basically, Leno LaBianca was running a mattress store.
Love it. So where were they? Like when they came back, they had been like at a lake, right? And he had a boat that he was towing. What do you know? What lake they were at? Was that like?
If I remember the tale correctly, they were Big Bear, weren't they? We can look it up.
Okay, all right.
I think it was.
It's Big Bear.
That's not too far from like all of that stuff out there, Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, Ridgecrest.
Christopher Dorner allegedly burned up that cabin, right? Remember former Navy SEAL turned LAPD man who put Los Angeles under siege by sending out a lethal weapon style letter to all the police officers, the ranking officers in the LAPD saying he was going to kill them all, the captains, everything else like that.
Yes, totally. At Big Bear.
Yeah, that's where the search culminated. Where he allegedly kidnaps a couple in their cabin and burns it down. I'm not even sure Christopher Dorner was a real person. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with that. But I mean, that is it's right there in the mix with a lot of stuff there in Big Bear.
Yeah,
we need another killdozer.
I mean, it's close to. It's also close to like Idlewild, where the Brotherhood of Eternal Love had their ranch.
Yep, the Solar Lodge of the OTO was right down there. They had a 12-year-old boy locked in a cage.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's friendly.
That's cute. Real fucking cute. Well, the more I look into wherever this Babylon working went down with L. Ron Hubbard and their little sex magic together and what's allegedly the Mojave Desert. Well, just north of the Mojave Desert is Area 51. And Area 51 was founded by the Hamblin family of Kanab, Utah. The same Hamblin family you'll find associated with the Mormon SRA abuse scandal of David Hamblin. The same Hamblin family that would later produce Major General Brent Scowcroft, who was Henry Kissinger's right-hand man and VP of Kissinger and Associates, National Security Advisor to 3 presidents. His assistant, J.J. Bryan, I'm J.J. Vance. His name was J.J. Bryan, and he started a neo-process cult named Victorianism.
So
we see a lot.
What is it
Victorianism, Victorianism. Victorian is not Victorian like the era. Victorian. Now they had their own ancient alien overlord god, kind of like Xeno, but his name's Alan. It's the year like 6041 with these Muppets. But they used all the process symbols. The logo was a process logo for the art gallery they operated out of. But he was the National Security Advisor's assistant and then left to go do this. So, but that National Security Advisor was out of the same Hamblin family that founds Kanab, Utah, where the process is headquartered today. And that's the same Hamblin. That same Hamblin that founded Kanab is the same Hamblin that founded the area we now know as Area 51. And allegedly, L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons did their Babylon working in the town founded by Hamblin at the time before it was Area 51.
In the high desert, right?
in the high desert, just north of the Mojave Desert.
Yeah, I like like weird little personal story about Kanab is
Sure.
Yeah, I went. This was like probably 20 years ago. Me and some friends went down to Zion and Bryce, and we like hired these people from Kanab who had, they had like this tour guide service, and they like put us all on they had horses, and they would like set up a camp for us and like cook for us, so we would like go like horseback riding all through the parks and come back to like really like dope meal. It was a really fun trip, and these people like they really they really like were like targeting me, I guess, to like be like friendly, and every night I'd stay up talking to these people, and well, I get home and I get a call from them, and they're like, oh yeah, Joe from Kanab, he told us that you're a really great guy. We'd like to send somebody to your house to bring you a Book of Mormon.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I was like, well, I like Joe from Kanab, like he's a good dude, but I don't want a book from the Book of Mormon. Actually, like you can send it to my. They're like, no, we won't send it to you in the mail. We have to send somebody to your house to bring it to you. And I was like, well,
that's aggressive, dude.
Yeah, dude. So, and that like all originated out of Kanab, and these people like have, as far as I know, they still have this restaurant like on Main Street in Kanab.
Oh yeah, it's called that's hardcore
Feasting.
Mormon. That's fundamentalist Mormon country. You're in fundamentalist cult Mormon country there.
So yeah, I mean,
is that where Heidi's from out there, right, JJ? In Kanab?
She's on the north end of the state. She's up there north of Salt Lake there in that region. Well, let's put in some. Do you have any other closing words there, Mr. Habsburg Jolly West?
No, dude. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
For sure. No, I definitely enjoyed the discourse and comment. Happy to have you all back anytime. Jordan, sir, I appreciate your time and discourse as well there, sir. Did you have any closing thoughts or statements you'd like to offer us?
Hey, man, this was a great time. I appreciate the invitation. We definitely enjoyed ourselves. Landon, it was great to meet you. Definitely would love to have you guys back on Divulgence sometime. For everyone listening, you can check us out at Divulgence, the Divulgence podcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, Rumble. You can also get audio versions on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We have a great show with Ryan Dawson tomorrow. We got the Occult Rejects on Sunday, and then we have a big Epstein show with Hadsburg, William Ramsey, and Adam from the Truth Desk on Monday. So that'll be a really kick-ass show. So make sure to tune in then on 2 p.m.
That's a solid panel you got there, and I appreciate both your gents' time and again, Discourse a great show, and love to have you back anytime. Happy to join you all in any conversations. Definitely on mounds. We're going to talk mounds. In fact, speaking of that state of Wisconsin. The first Wisconsin dogman sighting was on a mound, strangely enough. Just a little fun fact for you.
Motherfucker. Yeah. This was great, guys. This was great.
Yes,
that
sir.
flea-infested bastard dogman.
You got to watch out, man. You watch out for lasers and for dogman. Well, Landon, I appreciate your time, sir. Did you have any closing comments or plugs there for the Daily Dissonant?
It was a good show, man, and you guys can find me at the Daily Dissonant wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be there. Should have some episodes up this week. So, yeah, just kind of been building a fence. So I've been, tackling that. So haven't really had time to record. So,
all right. Well, thank you, gents, for joining me here tonight to get a little GCD. And thank you, folks at the Interwest, for joining us. And on the way out, I have to leave you with this safety briefing.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Watch your six, folks. Stay vigilant. Ted's down. They got him twice.
Well, that's it. That's the show here, folks. So the next time you're out on the town, visiting your local watering holes, or perhaps just meandering around, and you hear the unmistakable sounds of metal clanking, and you spot signs of a disturbance, but check your six. Look in that garbage can, 'cause you never can tell. The GCDs may be loose in your town.